opinion and carry in.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome and happy Friday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, whatever is trending on this here internet. We chat about it on this show. So before we get started, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And before we get started with today's topic, I do want to apologize because I did say I was going to come on yesterday. However, I was just tired. I was exhausted. I was worn out. I just did not have the energy to get on here. So I was like, you know what? I need to listen to my body and take a day and just rest because, yeah, my birthday is coming up on Monday. So I'm actually going to use that opportunity to just like relax and not work because I actually thought I was going to be working like crazy next week. I saw my schedule. Thank God I'm not. So I think I'm going to just spend those couple of days, like my birthday week, just relaxing, not putting so much into, the show or whatever. I may kind of go off on that and I may do a week of, you know what? I need to just follow and just be like, you know what? Take time away, do what I need to do, and then come back recharged. Because, when September hit, the fall get up around and all the other good stuff, I'm going to need all the energy I need. So I probably will need to just take like just a couple of days. I don't want to sit and say that I'm going to take the whole week next week. I don't know. If something real big or something huge happens within, the week of September, I may jump on here and do a show or two. But for the most part, I do feel like I just need to take a couple of days and like recharge because I am no good to y'all, being a hot, exhausted ass mess. So speaking of hot messes, we got a lot of topics to get to today. So because I'm going to be taking a couple of days, I'm definitely going to be giving you all a lot of tea in this episode. So we got to talk about Ben Affleck because apparently every time I turn around, people always tell me that they're afraid that he's going to relapse. First of all, he's a grown ass man. Like, y'all need to get off his dick in regards to this whole thing with his whole, oh my God, he's going to relapse. What are we going to do? The world's going to come to an end. So we got stuff regarding that, especially his relationship with Keke, that, he was out here laying low and spreading it wild while still married to Jennifer. We got a lot of divorce news because Leah Remini announced yesterday that she is calling it quits with her husband, Angelo Pagán, after they've been together 26 years, married for 21. So they filed for divorce yesterday. Keke Palmer, now, child, girl, if disappointment was, if we looked up disappointment in the dictionary, your picture should be next to it. Because rumors are swirling that she is back with her baby daddy, Darius Jackson. And there was rumors going around that she might be pregnant with his child, with baby number 2. So there's that. Plus, seems like there may be some trouble in paradise for Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry because apparently they're saying that with everything going on with her album flopping and then her getting back with Dr. Luke, that is putting a lot of strain on their relationship. Also, we got an update on this whole Marilyn Manson, Evan Rachel Wood situation because apparently he is filed a defamation suit against her and claiming that she forged an FBI letter. Kyle Rich's husband is under fire for fraud. Why am I not surprised? Because he was taking out some PPP loans. See, they're coming after everybody now that was going out there getting them PPP loans. Y'all thinking that was some free damn money. Plus, T-Boz talking about after her recent health scare that she's considering retiring from the music business. Plus, we got some tea on Christina Aguilera. She's on the cover of Paper Magazine, and she is defending the Bionic era. And I have to say, I'm with her because the Bionic era was definitely one of her highlights, although a lot of y'all wasn't featuring that era. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Chappell Roan is being dragged yet again because she canceled 2 European show dates. And the fans are saying, oh, because you want to go and hang out and be at the damn VMAs and you talking about you don't like all the fame and stuff, but you try to hobnob with all the celebrities. So they call her a hypocrite. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Ice-T is slamming people who are saying that Law & Order SVU has gone woke. Snooki spilled some tea about Jersey Shore. And apparently she said there was a prominent scene, an iconic scene that happened during the Jersey Shore, not Family Vacation, but the original show, the Jersey Shore era, and she said it was staged. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Lemon and Alexis Mateo, our top two queens from Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the World, are going at it on Twitter. I was following it in real time yesterday, so we're going to talk about it, of course, because I live for a Drag Race beef. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, fans are revealing a controversial Drag Race opinion they defend against an army of the fandom. And Raheem Shabazz, one of my favorite adult cinematographers, is sharing a tip for aspiring adult entertainers. And I actually am going to interlink that with this recent thing about Timothy Champagne that everybody's going in on him because apparently they're saying like, oh, well, he's making $1 million and stuff. Like he's one of the most successful successful adult cinematographers on OF. And people are talking about, oh, because he's white and his stuff is mediocre or whatever the case is, that he's been able to push ahead of the curve and making a lot of coins. And he's not gay, that apparently he's a straight acting whatever. But he clarified some things, and I pulled up his little IG video, and we're gonna play with that as a class. Plus, there's some stuff that was going on in the world of not drag race necessarily, but local drag. A couple of my local drag friends have been kind of pulling up this whole controversial thing in regards of giving up-and-comers opportunities in the world of drag. I was thinking about, I can interlink that with this story regarding controversial drag race opinions. So I was like, ooh, that sounds pretty relatively interesting, because I was talking back and forth with a drag friend of mine about this whole situation and how nightlife has changed drastically, especially in New York. So we're going to get into all that and a whole lot more. So as I said before we get started, please hit that like button and also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live, a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Let me hit my banner. Let me drink some of this coffee. Even though I had Dunkin' Donuts coffee earlier, I don't know why I'm in the mood to drink coffee again. So let's get into our first topic, which is Ben Affleck and his whole sobriety situation that's going on between him and, they were saying that Jennifer Lopez was basically more or less a glorified babysitter than a wife, that she was always just trying to uplift him and get him out of his little stink ass mood swings and all that other stuff. And then apparently, nothing was seeming to work, that he was depressed. And I said, child, they got medication for that. Like, I ain't got time to be sitting up here. Like, there's only so much I could do if I'm in a relationship with someone to uplift you and make you feel good about yourself. But you're going to constantly come in the room and you're just going to fuck up my mood. Then it's just like, I ain't got time for you. It's like, okay, now I'm just going to have to find something else to do. I need to remove myself from the situation because you're just bringing my whole damn mood down. So, hold on as I pull up this photo. So let's get into this story. So it says, according to Radar Online, Kennedy, as in Kit Kennedy, that's not her actual name, but that's her nickname, as they call her, the daughter of scandal-ridden former U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his 66-year-old first wife, Emily Black. I should point out he's 70, because apparently people want to sit up here and bring up ages and things, has nursed heartache for years over the death of a drug-addicted former boyfriend. The 36-year-old was left devastated when her billionaire banking heir lover, Matthew Mellon, was found unalive in 2018 at age 54 in his Mexico hotel room before he was due to check into rehab. Probably thought I could just do one more situation with the drugation before I go to rehab. Some people do that. It's like, okay, let me just snort a little bit more booger sugar or do whatever. Do that last line of heroin. Well, not line. Well, I don't know if you could do lines. I've never fucked with heroin, nor do I plan. Or let me smoke this last bit of meth. I know a lot of people inject it or whatever. I think you can snort heroin. But anyway, so they said a source told Radar Online about how Affleck should be aware of the same dangers. Matthew's death was a massive shock for Keke, and she's never totally recovered from the trauma. And they said before he died, he told one of his closest pals he had broken up with Kennedy, along with issues over their 24-year age gap, he feared she would threaten his sobriety. Now, they also said that Matthew had a huge problem with drugs, and Ben's inner circle is now scared with him hanging around with a person with a past trauma linked to drugs could lead to his disastrously falling off the wagon. Now, Ben has battled for years to kick his drink demons, and they're now scared being with Keke can destroy all his good work. One of the rules of recovery is not to associate with anyone or put yourself in situations that could trigger addicts, and a troubled past linked to a tragic addict's death is definitely one of those cases. They said this blossoming relationship with Keke is a major concern for everyone who loves Ben tremendously and respects all the hard work he's done to get and remain clean. The insider also added that Kennedy has known Affleck for years and has boasted they previously hooked up. And according to reports, they were saying like a couple of months ago, Ben had gotten with her. While he was married to Jen. So Jen filed for separation on the whole divorce papers back in April. She said they've been separated since April. They allegedly started hooking up in June. And here we are going into September as of when? Sunday? Oh no, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I think is tomorrow's the 31st because we're in August 30th. So Sunday is the 1st. So allegedly they've been hooking up for like a good 2-3 months. And my thing is this: Ben is a grown-ass man. If he's gonna link himself up with people who have issues of like birds of a feather, I guess, flock together. And so if you're going to be in a situation where you're going to just be constantly attaching yourself to people who have past traumatic issues or have dated people with addiction issues, it's like there are 12-step programs. There are things, if Ben is feeling a way where he's being tempted to relapse, whatever the case is, there are plenty of meetings that he can take, especially living in Los Angeles, which is like the capital of fucking drug addicts. Like all them damn junkies that be out there in the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. There's plenty of rehab facilities out there that he can check himself into. There are plenty of AA meetings that he can acquire himself to take. I'm sure I don't know if he does, but I would think that if you are someone who's a lifelong addict, and that is always, as long as you breathe air on this earth, that you are going to have to constantly work at your sobriety. I'm sure he has a sponsor that he can confide in if those temptations are getting there. Because I don't think it's just alcohol that he's an addiction to. I think Ben has just an addictive personality. And he's not only addicted to alcohol, I think he's addicted to pussy too. And I think he's also addicted to coffee. Like every damn day we see him with that Dunkin' Donuts ass coffee. And quite as it's kept, even though I had Dunkin' Donuts earlier, the only reason why I had Dunkin' Donuts earlier is because of this whole drama with Starbucks endorsing the RNC. So I can't be out here drinking Starbucks like I used to. So I got to sit here and make my damn Bustelo black in a damn, the ghetto Chinese iced tea cup because I'm protesting against Starbucks Republican endorsing asses or GOP endorsing asses. So if he's someone who has addictions, and hold on, because I need to see who the ex look like. Well, I don't know what you can see. That's a Kennedy because they all got them long ass teeth. But this is the guy who she was in a relationship with. But it seems also she has a thing for older men. So does that mean, I wouldn't be surprised that her father's a piece of shit. Well, based off his policies, we do believe he is a piece of shit. And that she doesn't have the closest relationship with her father because she's someone who's in her 30s. Her father is in his 70s. And she keeps running after older men because if she's in her 30s, Ben is in his 50s. I don't remember how old this guy is. I'm sure it said it in the article. And quite frankly, I don't feel like scrolling up to find out what his age is. I probably said it early in the show. But I don't see, I just feel like she's got daddy issues. And she's addicted to people who have drug issues. That whole drug situation. And they said Mellon had been battling an OxyContin addiction and once admitted he spent $100,000 a month on the drug. So while you got dumbasses like fucking Mayor Adams, our stupid ass mayor from New York burning weed, for political theater because it's illegal, whatever the situation is, like that dumb shit. I can't wait till we vote his stupid ass out because he ain't doing nothing but just being if somebody give his ass an Oscar because his overacting, or no, give him a Razzie because he can't act for shit. But all this political theater we doing with him. So it's funny how we out here burning weed because it's illegal dispensaries and all this other foolishness. Yeah, so your billionaire friends that help and get your ass in office can continue to get money off the back end. But you don't like these illegal, as he's calling it. But now we got a whole issue with prescription medications that people are addicted to and the billions that goes into getting people hooked on these prescription drugs, we're not going to crack down on that, right? We're going to sit up here and blame it on migrants sliding it in this damn country. That ain't what the real gag is. The real gag is these damn pharmaceutical companies that are making billions of dollars off of people getting hooked on drugs. So I say all this to say, like, you know what, Jennifer, I will say the one good thing about this whole situation is that you dodged, well, I was going to say you dodged the bullet, but it's been 2 years you put up with this foolishness. Leave that man where he at. Ben is a hot ass mess. He a lost cause. You could do bad by yourself, which I know that's not gonna happen. Like Jennifer, I think the next thing for her is find you a cute ass backup dancer. Like really get into your Madonna / share bag. Get you a younger man, somebody that can just eat your box, could dig you out every now and again, and play with your kids. Keep them busy. And just cater to your every need. When you be wearing them Louboutins and you be dancing on that stage, let them rub your feet, eat your box, and keep you happy. Don't get married no more, because these men ain't shit. Or just the fact that Savannah can't find herself a good man. But look, ever since that he got that he dropped Jennifer, that this whole situation was announced that they're splitting, he does seem a lot happier. And let him stay over there. You do what you gotta do, and leave him with Keke and her stuff. But look, if he got issues or whatever going on with drama, and he's feeling away with the addiction and stuff. Look, like I said, there's plenty of places he can go. He can go get him, call his sponsor, go to an AA meeting. There's no excuse. Like you talking about, well, someone is gonna force him to relapse. Or being around somebody. He just, at this point, having a good old time, revisiting old coochie. But it just seems like, to me, Ben has a habit with just reverting to the past. Like, you went after Jennifer, who was your past. And now you're going after this girl who you know for years, and y'all have had a little fool-la-la. And now you're getting back with her. Whatever happened to go moving forward? Why everybody keep looking backwards? Like, they call them exes for a damn reason. But anyway, I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I can't wait till these two him and Jennifer get a damn divorce so I can stop talking about them, because this whole back and forth with him and this whole try to play up this whole woe is me. Sir, you ain't that good of a damn actor that you try to play this whole sad Ben situation. First of all, we prefer sad Keanu over sad Ben, because that's way more believable than you trying to play up this whole gaslighting, love bomb bullshit that he was doing with Jennifer and this whole sort of, you played into the whole loving, addiction and love type situation. Although they say he has an addiction to love too, which would be surprised. They both Leos, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do have that's another addiction we could add to that. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And Onyx is in the building, said 2 wrongs don't make a right. I agree. A hot ass mess, Cham. But anyway, now speaking of divorces, let's move on and let's talk about Leah. Remini, Jennifer's friend. Well, I think I know they had a falling out because she did go to she went to Mark Anthony's recent wedding, because I remember Michael Musso, he was being messy though. He said, "Oh, Jennifer's getting back with Mark Anthony." I said, "No, he not. I mean, no, she not." Because first of all, Mark done moved on. He got him a much younger girlfriend. I think she's like one of those Miss USA, Miss Universe, one of them, because he has a thing he loves the model girls, or those Miss USA, Miss America type girls. Because Diana Torres, I believe, before when he allegedly cheated on her with Jennifer, check the math. I believe when they got together, she was a Miss Universe, Miss USA. I don't know the damn difference. If Kenya Moore was up here, she'd give us the goddamn unnecessary "who asked you broad" tutorial on that. But for the most part, she's in one of them situations. So I believe his new wife is in a similar type of thing. So last night when I was working on some hot topics, well, I should have been resting, but of course I was working per usual. It's like I don't know how to take a damn break. It's hard. She went on social media and was like, and I saw she announced that she was divorcing her husband. And I was sitting there like, am I surprised by this? Not really, because when I would watch some stuff on her reality show and how Leah Remini comes across, it's like, it was only a matter of time before she filed for divorce. Now, the one thing I do hope that doesn't happen is that her other bestie, Michelle Visage, don't end up announcing her divorce from her husband. Because, you know, they begging. Hold on. So let's get into that story. So they said Leah Remini and husband Angelo, or should I be all Espanol, but Angelo Pagán, are going their separate ways after more than 2 decades of marriage. The King of Queens alum, who's 54, and the entrepreneur announced a decision to end their marriage after 21 years in a joint Instagram post on Thursday, August 29th, said, well, here we are. After 28 years together and 21 years of marriage, we have decided to file for divorce, is what the announcement said. Well, that's how it started off. This decision came after a lot of thought and care, and as hard as divorce is, we are approaching this with positive outlook because we know it's what's best for us. The statement continued, we are proud of how we have worked through this together. While they figure out their new normal, they said they will still celebrate holidays as a family and watch their favorite TV shows together. Well, the way they're making it sound like is they, if they're saying that they're going to celebrate holidays as a family and watch their favorite TV shows together, it sounds like to me that they've become more friends rather than significant others, and that they've kind of grown apart. And I feel like that's what happens a lot in certain marriages. First of all, Leah's husband is very good looking. I was like, ooh, I know he probably laid a pipe. He gives me that, like, he's just nasty in the bedroom. But it just goes to show, like, after a while, you know, people drift apart, and that's okay. I was thinking the same thing when it comes to me hearing the rumors, and I was going to add this as part of the show, but I was like, I don't want to make this a whole, like, a laundry list of, okay, this relationship breaking up. Like, it gets a little tedious after a while, but I could just interlink them in passing. George Clooney and his wife Amal, like, they've been saying the same thing, that they become kind of distant, they become more friends rather than husband and wife, and they're coming up on their 10-year anniversary. They were just spotted at the Venice Film Festival trying to put on a brave face, or as they say, save face. And to me, it just seemed like, you know what, maybe that's kind of the thing too. It's like with marriages and relationships aren't easy, and it's hard to kind of like keep that fire burning. Speaking of which, when we talk about relationships breaking up, I think the rumors is true about Ricky Martin and that adult film star, because I just seen that picture of the adult film star, posted it on his Instagram. I was like, wait, what's his name? I don't know. I know this ain't got nothing to do with it, but I'm just like, Max Bars. Remember that story about Max Bars was allegedly digging out the guts of Ricky Martin, and they said that was the reason why him and Juan Yosef broke up, was because that Ricky was seeing an adult film star. Well, child, I seen the recent picture of them two together. I was like, Ricky out there in Thailand, getting his Nambio Ho Renge Kyo. Okay. But anyway, let's get back to the story. So, this is all divorce talk. So it said, so the big question, why? To put it simply, we both changed as people do, and we got used to playing roles that didn't fit us anymore. After a lot of effort and consideration, we've decided to take this step, which reflects who we are today. Our bond is still strong. It's just evolved into something different. We think a marriage that lasted this long and created so many beautiful memories, especially raising our incredible daughter, is something to celebrate. From our perspective, this marriage was a huge success, and now we're looking forward to creating even more cherished moments, just in a different way. Now, Remini and Pagán said they wanted to be as transparent as we can be since they shared their marriage so publicly on TV over the years. So we are sharing this unknown territory with you as we take our first steps into the next stage of our lives publicly. We would love for everyone to have more access to different kinds of relationship stories and not feel so isolated in navigating the changes that millions of couples take every year. We hope our journey can inspire others to see that relationships, whether they change or end, aren't failures. We'll keep sharing snippets of our lives as we navigate this new chapter. And I have to say, you know what? Kudos to her for them both for coming to that revelation. It's the fact that, you know what, they said we've changed as a couple. We've outgrown each other in so many ways. And it's just like, we just don't, I don't want to say see eye to eye, because they had to see eye to eye to come to this conclusion. But when they said that they've evolved into something different, and that when you have a marriage that will last to them, well, first of all, shout out to them for being together for almost 30 years. And being married for 21 years, that is a great feat to have. I'm not someone who comes from divorce, so I couldn't imagine what that would be like. But I'm guessing when it comes down to the situation, because I think her daughter Sophia doesn't live in the house anymore and is off in college, that a lot of times when you get that empty nest situation, because I think a lot of times parents will stay together for the sake of, okay, I'm raising the kid. I'm so laser focused on raising the child and making sure that, in a 2-family household and you're all doing your thing and I'm all doing my thing. She's an actress. He's all being an entrepreneur and a businessman, that sort of thing. And she's also being a mother and raising the kid, that once the child is no longer in the house and you get that sense of empty nest syndrome, seeps in. Now you're looking at it as like, oh, well, now you're starting, the things that you kind of been putting on the back burner starts to seep its way into the forefront. And now you're kind of looking at each other as like, you know what? The relationship isn't what it once was, and now we've kind of just moved on and done our own thing. So I say, kudos to Leah for coming together. I've always, liked Leah Remini because I guess she's from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, and we're very much unfiltered. We keep it real in the things that we kind of have said. And I feel like, you know what? If people are feeling the ways in regards of that, regarding their child, speaking of which, I should have pulled this damn picture up of her kid in them, so that way y'all get to see what little old Sophia looked like. Well, she got big though. So, in regards to that, it's like, you know what, when you start to see things differently, then it's like you just move on to bigger and better things. And I'm actually glad that they both come to that conclusion. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? It's sad to always see when people have to file for divorce and that sort of thing. But look, it's better to just see the forest for the trees in the beginning instead of just staying in a unhappy relationship with someone or just trying to keep somebody around for the sake of keeping around. Like, you don't want to be in a messy ass situation like Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan. Like, they already have gone their separate ways. They're engaged to 2 other people. I mean, she done had 2 other kids since being not in a relationship with Channing Tatum, but them 2 still married. They still fighting. She's still trying to get some of that Magic Mike coin. So I'd rather, a Leah Remini, Angelo situation than a Channing Tatum and a Jenna Dewan type of marriage, because they still, and I don't know how they significant others are still putting up with that. Because I'm like, okay, at some point y'all got to come together and figure out this damn divorce thing. Because I'm not just gonna be sitting around being the fiance until y'all figure this out. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's move on to our next topic, to another messy couple. Speaking of messy couples, I should say, let's talk about Keke Palmer, who apparently got social media in an uproar because of her recent birthday party. She out here taking pictures with her baby father. And we already know the whole thing with Darius and that whole situation, how the internet, the pundits, bloggers, everybody was windmilling for Keke. It was like, sis, we channeling out into Tyra Banks. We was rooting for you. We was all rooting for you. Now you getting back together allegedly with the man that put you through hell. We've seen the footage from the house camera footage where it's like he threw you over the couch and then it looked like he was abusing you and all this other stuff. You were talking about you wasn't innocent. Look, child, first of all, we had Sharon, your mama, spitting all on the goddamn camera like she was Ray Potts. If you know, Ray Potts, the porn star, when he was going after my friend Nico Aesthetics and spitting all over the damn camera, with all his bullshit. That's why I say no to drugs, kids. But when you got Sharon over here spitting all over the damn camera, windmilling for her daughter, and here she go at her damn birthday party. Child, that's why I'm glad she an August Virgo. We don't kind of accept y'all over here. Y'all over there, us September Virgos, we over here. Like, we don't go and get in the stupid ass relationships. We ain't as forgiving, or I guess unless you Beyonce with Jay-Z. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, we not as forgiving. But I guess, when you got your whole marriage and everything wrapped up in other things, I guess it's not as easy to just walk away from a marriage. So anyway, so apparently they're saying, she's shutting down pregnancy rumors because people's out here saying that she's pregnant with baby number 2 from the same man, because she out here celebrating her 31st birthday, and Darius was there. So shout out to Complex for the story. So the multi-hyphenate celebrated her 31st birthday on Monday with a party that shared a carousel of photos to her Instagram. Say, I don't want to be long. I just want to be clear. I am grateful to God for another year. Oh, that rhymes. I'm a poet and I know it. Well, she's a poet because she wrote it. I'm not here for a long time, but I'm here for a community rich time, and that's what I have. This is what she wrote on Instagram. She said, it's my birthday, but it's my community's birthday too, because they are the ones that got me this far. We are all alone in this world. We come in alone and we go out alone, but what we share is this experience. In that shared experience, we know what it's like to be as one in togetherness. And that community is where God lives. And that love, that hope, and that joy, I'm forever grateful to know that and to have that. This is what she continued. She said, this is 31. More pictures coming because me and my crew looked fly all night. So mad I didn't get a solo shot with my dad, she added. Fans in the comments, of course, were surprised to see that Palmer posed for a photo, excuse me, with her presumed ex-boyfriend Darius Jackson while holding their 18-month-old son, Leotis. Yeah, the people definitely was mad. And let's get to what some of them said. Now, they said last November, Palmer accused Jackson of domestic abuse and filed for temporary restraining order and requested sole custody of their son. According to legal documents reviewed by The Blast, the actress seemingly dropped the case against her ex in May. The notoriously private Hustlers actress has not spoken about the matter. Earlier this month, the parents seemed to patch things up and were seen taking their son to the zoo. That was the first situation when people started complaining and going in on her, was when we did see the picture of them two out and about with the kid at the zoo. Now, here's the thing what I'll say on that. Wait, hold on. Let's get to what the people said and I'll give my thoughts. And they said that, however, Palmer did issue a response after fans thought that the star might be pregnant with her second child based on a photo of a loved one placing her hand on her stomach. Now, I think I may have that photo. Hold on a second, because there was somebody that yeah, that was the picture that someone had taken. It's like, yeah, when you starting to place a photo, your hand on somebody's stomach, that is usually a sign that they might be pregnant. They said the hand on the stomach almost made me think we had another Keke coming, wrote a user in the comments, along with the crying, laughing emoji and a heart. And IDK, why her ass did that? Ha ha, because honey, the way I was drinking last night, the baby wouldn't be making it. This is what Palmer replied. If Keke wants to look, here's the thing with me. If Keke wants to rekindle her relationship with Darius, that's on her since she grown. Now, I will say this. I am glad that she has responsibly and cordially, as an adult, figured out a way to be like, let's come together as parents, even though we not hunching no more, whatever the case is. Let's take more of the mature route. This is me trying to be, find the silver lining. Find the mature route to come together and work it out as parents. So let's do play dates with our child. Let's go to the zoo. I'm even going to invite you to my birthday party. We're not going to hunch or whatever the case though. Maybe they still up. Maybe they are hunching. I don't know. But let's find that silver lining of let me bring you in and see what's the tea. And let's see if we can work things out in an adult way without the courts getting in the middle of it, which I actually prefer. Because sometimes when the courts and stuff get in the middle of stuff, it always makes it seem like, okay, so y'all just immature and petty and thinking, oh, let's just kind of, let me throw a dag at you and then vice versa. And then at the end of the day, because we talk about this a lot on the show, it ends up hurting the child. So we could find a way to make it work cordially for the sake of the kid. Even though we can't stand each other, we're going to make it work. So I applaud Keke maturely coming at it from that direction. Now, if Darius show his ass again and do to you and prove to you like, okay, so I gave you a chance. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know that old saying? And if we do the same shit, I'll say this, sis, keep us out the group chat. Because in the words of like we were saying about, Tyra Banks, we was rooting for you. We were trying to sit up out here and give you the benefit of the doubt. We was all out here windmilling and everything. And here you go running back to the same old man. Like there ain't no other dick out there that you can hunch or get with. So I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt in this whole situation. But if it comes down to the fact that y'all are back together and you do end up in a Cardi B Offset type situation where the man keep dogging your ass out, y'all keep dragging us in the goddamn group chat only for him to dog you again, then it's like, sis, don't be surprised when the people get on social media and start cussing you out because you want to be out here, creating a certain narrative, but now you keep dragging us in the group chat. Keep it to yourself. Which Cardi B, I will give her this. And the last go round before she announced the divorce for Offset, she did do that. For the most part, kept us out the damn group chat, which I will applaud her for. But all the other times, it was like, sis, can you just stop? So that's what I got to say on that. So I want to know what y'all think of this whole situation. Do y'all think that Keke is back with Darius? Are y'all as forgiving, or do y'all, see the silver lining in the things of what I was saying, or do you feel differently? Like, just keep us out the goddamn group chat. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about this whole drama that there could be trouble in paradise with Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry, because they're saying that this whole rollout with her new album and the fact that she was hooking up with Dr. Luke. I don't know why I got hunching in my mind because of Keke Palmer's story. But this whole situation with her and Dr. Luke going back and forth, and the fact that a lot of the singles that she's been releasing so far have been produced by Dr. Luke. They've all flopped. And the fact is, if you were so hell-bent, and this is what people saying, if you so hell-bent, if you so sure with hooking up with Dr. Luke was going to give you the career comeback that you was hoping for, why have you not included his name in the credits? Well, we all know he's been behind the production. But when you look at the situation, she's kind of been not including his name in a lot of the production notes. So it just goes to show that Katy is not as behind this as we would think. So the Dark Horse singer's latest single, Woman's World, was a total flop. And to make matters worse, she faced backlash over collaborating with disgraced producer Dr. Luke, who settled a defamation lawsuit with Kesha last year after she accused him of the R word. Meanwhile, sources claim that Perry's longtime partner Orlando Bloom has had a hard time coping with the singer's mood swings as her career goes up in flames. This is according to Radar Online. So Perry, who's 39, thought her new single would have been met with applause. Was that a Lady Gaga reference? But fans branded the tune cringe, garbage, and regressive, warmed over hell. Well, damn. I didn't know about that last part. Now they said, while the singer has a theme of female empowerment, her association with the scandal-ridden producer casts a dark shadow, not a dark horse, over its release. Amid the scathing backlash, Bloom, who's 47, is said to be struggling with consoling Perry, whom he shares daughter Daisy with, as he's become her emotional punching bag. Now, sources said Katy's threw her heart and soul into this comeback, so the fact that it's being ridiculed and she's taking all this heat for it is such a huge blow. She's having a very hard time with the backlash, saying it's totally unfair and she's desperate to do damage control. Well, sis, before we move on to that, this is giving pure guarantees. So she's sitting up here and says she's having a hard time with the backlash and it's unfair. I'm like, sis, are you slow? If this is to be, if this story is true, let's entertain it. She got to be dense, because I'm like, from the beginning, has she not been aware of the accusations against Dr. Luke? Like, she knew about it because we talked about it on the show. Even that whole thing with her and Lady Gaga and allegedly them having to be put in court and them saying that she was allegedly assaulted by him too. The whole situation. I'm not trying to recap all of that because we've done it many a times over. But how could you be so obtuse to think like, okay, so I'm going to work with Dr. Luke and everybody's going to be okay with it, especially when we're in this accountability culture, zeitgeist circle situation, tornado, I'll call it. This tornado of accountability culture. How could she be surprised that people are not being receptive to the fact that you work with Dr. Luke. And I've heard people say, well, how come y'all are going so hard on Katy Perry, but y'all haven't gone hard on people like Kim Petras and so many others who have worked with Dr. Luke on their music post the whole Kesha situation? They also went up saying that she's been in crisis meetings every day trying to figure out a way to fix things, but so far nothing seems to be working, and it's got her in a pretty bad headspace. Apparently not even a luxury vacation with Bloom and their daughter helped cheer up the former AI judge. That'd be American Idol. Inside of the real, Orlando was trying to lift her spirits with the fancy vacation, but she's in no mood to relax, and the poor guy is bearing the brunt of it. She's trying to hold her head up, but deep down, Katy is in free fall and totally panicked about how it's all gone so horribly wrong. Well, the problem was, as I said before, you worked with Dr. Luke. That was the first mistake. And I feel like what's happening with that is I feel like regardless of what you do, because I always say, you only have one chance to make a first impression. And the first impression was you dropped your first single, came out, it was a Dr. Luke produced track. Well, actually it was basically a leftover from Ava Max, where everybody calls like the Hot Topic version of Lady Gaga. But after all of that, whatever, you put that song out, that song was trash. And then she's trying to put out these other songs, but everything sounds dated. Even Lifetime sound like a lot of the singles sound like something that was hot over a decade ago. Dance music, EDM, whatever you want to call it, has changed so much and has evolved. Like that these sound like songs that were just left on the cutting room floor. Like she's taking, what do they call those? Sessions, like where people come and they just give you a bunch of tracks, reference songs or whatever. You listen to songs. It's like, okay, I can rework this. But it's like, yeah, these songs were like from a decade ago. And music has changed so much. That's why you always have to be so quick with these releases, because the sonically, music changes so drastically. And everybody's in like a whole different type of bag of what type of music they want to listen to. So it's like the type of music you're putting out now, people ain't really trying to hear all that anymore. So with all of that, it's just like, I don't think there's anything she could do to salvage this album. I just feel like at this point, you know what? The record is the record. Put it out. Do what you can with it, and try to promote it to the best of your ability. Now, I do wonder, because I want to ask you guys, do you even think that at this point she could sell out arenas? Like if she were to do a whole arena tour for this record, would y'all even care enough to come see her perform? Or does she have to kind of go the I don't know what's the phrase, the residency route? Like she has to do a residency in Vegas at this point. I don't know if people care enough to want to see Katy Perry do an arena tour. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing I've been saying about Oasis. Everybody talking about Oasis is coming back and they're doing it. I said, don't nobody care about no damn Oasis. First of all, Wonderwall was the only damn hit, especially in America. Nobody was really listening to them like that. They're basically, okay, and then y'all were basically a poor man's Beatles. I could never stand the Gallagher brothers. They always walked around with a fucking attitude. Like, I was like, who cares? And now and then they were like going on and they were hot when I was a kid. But at this point, nobody cares about Oasis, just like I don't think anybody really cares for Katy Perry. And I don't give a damn what MTV says. MTV is struggling so bad. They really are. They're struggling so bad for relevancy. First of all, y'all trying to cook up drama between not Olivia Rodrigo, because Olivia Rodrigo's currently on her European tour, but Camila Cabello, Shawn Mendes, and Sabrina Carpenter. Y'all really think that is a thing that's going to get people to watch her show? That is like 10-year-old freaking relationship Fisher-Price drama. They're not interesting enough. All three of them collectively are not interesting enough for people to give a damn about wanting to see them on a stage. But, oh, is there going to be drama? Like, who cares? And then y'all giving Katy Perry this Video Vanguard Award for why? Number one, her music has not been, she did a couple of cute videos back in the Teenage Dream era and the Witness era. But after that, she hasn't really been innovative in regards of visual art. And don't get me wrong on this. They are so desperate for relevancy and ratings that I just heard that MTV has just created a nomination for most iconic performance. So they're looking to the past because a lot of you new generation artists, y'all ain't bringing it in regards to like the controversy, or not just controversy for controversy's sake, but y'all don't have those like those genre defining, jaw dropping moments like we used to have back in the day. So the nominations for that, just to add that with this, because it all has to do with Katy Perry and MTV, because she is a nomination. She is nominated for it. This actually, it said Beyonce's Love on Top. Okay, number one, Beyonce's Love on Top. That performance was so damn whatever. But the only iconic moment about it is she rubbed her stomach and she was pregnant. So, okay, that's not an iconic moment for me. It's like, okay, yeah, she revealed she was pregnant. We got excited for a moment, but it's not it's not nomination worthy. And it's no shade to Beyonce, but I'm just saying. Then Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Madonna, and Missy Elliott, the Like a Virgin of Hollywood performance. Now, we are still 20-some odd years later, I believe that's the number, because I don't remember what year that happened. But that is an iconic moment. So I totally believe that's going to win, because we still talking about that moment decades later. Eminem, The Real Slim Shady, and The Way I Am. I don't even remember that performance, so I don't even know why that was nominated, but they had to put in some filler. Then they put Katy Perry Roar. I don't even remember that performance. Lady Gaga's Paparazzi. Now I do agree with that. That was an iconic performance, and I still think about that, especially when she was hanging in the blood and all that stuff. Like, I live for that performance, so I'm gonna give Lady Gaga that. Madonna, Like a Virgin, when she was rolling, that was like her most iconic moment at MTV when she was rolling around the damn stage, in the wedding gown. And then Taylor Swift, You Belong to Me. Like I said, filler. Y'all could have found other performances that happened during the VMAs that y'all could have put up in there to be nominated. One, what happened to Britney Spears? I'm a slave for you with the snake. Why wasn't that nominated? Or Britney Spears when she, when her and NSYNC and them got up there and they were doing, Oops, I Did It Again in the locker room and all that other stuff, the lockers and all that other stuff, like with the school setting. There's so many other iconic moments that happened on MTV y'all could have picked as a nomination, but I already feel like it's going to Madonna. And if it doesn't, y'all some biased ass bastards. So I say all this to say, it's unfortunate that this whole thing with Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom is happening, that he's getting the brunt of the aggression from her. Like, yeah, she's under tremendous pressure. And for people saying, oh, she's not really struggling or going, she don't care about sales. Yes, the fuck she does. Like a lot of these artists, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. They care about remaining on top. They care about having relevancy in the world of music and pop in the entertainment industry. They care about all this stuff. Y'all be trying to sit up here and make excuses. Trust and believe Katy cares. And I don't think she'll be coming back and doing American Idol or other stuff. First of all, they done moved on to Carrie Underwears. I was about to say, I wasn't going to call her that, but it was just kind of going that direction. But Carrie Underwood. I said Katie Underwood. Carrie Underwood. They care, she cares about, they care about all of that stuff. She ain't going to do another competition series, but at this point, it's like, yeah, I don't think there's anything she can do. Like I told you before, I will listen to the album when it comes out of curiosity, and I'll give my overall thoughts. But I really don't think that the album's going to be like this big iconic moment. It's all about Sabrina Carpenter. It's all about Chappell Roan. It's all about Charlie XCX. They're the girls having the time of their life. And Katy Perry, at this point, I just feel like it's a legacy act. You might as well just continue to do realize you are a legacy act. I don't know what she could do to salvage the career. Like, I just don't feel like she has made that much of an impact to be able to be in the same conversation as her other peers. You made a living just making nursery rhymes for little kids, and I just feel like her audience has outgrown her. So I think at this point, just do a residency and call it a day, because ain't nobody checking for Katy like that. And I don't care. I do care. If it affects her relationship, that would be unfortunate. But I just don't think people care about Katy like that for her music to just stand the test of time, because I don't think it stands the test of time. She had her moment, but she's not in the conversation as like the Lady Gaga and all these other type of pop girlies that she was coming out with at the time. So I'm curious to hear what y'all got to say on this story. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Okay, so speaking of comments, we do have a few. Please hold as because I had to close on my other windows before I get to those comments. Onyx says Katy is a sad case. We were all rooting for her, and here she goes throwing mood tantrums. Also, Katy should stop trying to market to a younger audience, top 40 at this point, and become an. Now, basically, you pretty much just got to the point, but that's kind of what I was saying. I was like, her music is when I said that her music is basically for like she makes nursery rhymes for little kids. So it's like Katy Perry's music is outdated. Her music panders to children, and I feel like her audience is grown. Like her audience has got to be, I would say, your age, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, maybe. I'll even push as far as. So I don't see Katy being like that girl that is influential in the words. So the one thing I will give Gaga is that she's evolved her sound. Like she does not only the electro pop stuff, but she also does adult contemporary. She does rock. She doesn't do, like she's dabbled in different genres, which in a way has solidified her to be beyond just that girl that does the fame type stuff. Like she can do stadiums for the rest of her damn life, like a Pink. So, some of that Oasis was big for white people. I guess Blur, well, quiet as it's kept. I will say Blur way better than Oasis. I could care less about Oasis and watch how I'm just waiting for them to cancel that tour like the Black Keys. It's only a matter of time before that happens because I don't even think people care enough that Oasis get back. First of all, they don't even like each other as siblings. How'd you gonna get the Gallagher brothers in a room long enough to even do a show? They hate each other. No, exactly. Nobody cares about Sabrina, Camilla, and Sean Love Triangle except for chronically online people with parasocial relationships. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Quiet as kept. Don't nobody care about them three. Neither, all three of them ain't even that interesting. I'm like, yes, Sabrina puts out good songs, whatever the case is, and she's having her moment. But as far as personality, allegedly she's going through it with what's her boyfriend, Barry Keoghan? Because they say he partying too damn much. But I'm like, hello, he's Irish. They stay. They come out the womb drunk. So, she's going on and having her stuff there, and then Camilla and Sean is like, nobody cares about y'all. So here we go with the industry doing that old school tactic of trying to drum up drama for us to be interested. Now, speaking of drama, let's get into this Marilyn Manson situation. So we have an update, and funny enough, I was on my social media yesterday. I was like, I fell down a Marilyn Manson rabbit hole because I do like his new song. He released 2 new songs. He's currently on tour. I see he didn't do a New York stop, which I'm kind of bummed about. But he's going to be going on tour in the U.S. until the end of September, and I think he's got at least 10 European tour dates. I don't think he'll be canceling like Chappell Roan, but like what she recently did. But for the most part, I've said I went down this Marilyn Manson rabbit hole, and I like his new song, Raise the Red Flag. I can't remember what the other song is, what the name of the other song is, but the Raise the Red Flag song, I'm like, I'm here for it. I'm loving like that whole rock industrial sound, and I love the fact, and maybe this is calculated, I don't know, he hired a female guitar player to be a part of the situation. And so he is going through it with his situation. Speaking of situations, he's going through it with his ex, Evan Rachel Wood, where they said he launched an appeal seeking to revive his defamation lawsuit against ex-fiance Evan Rachel Wood, arguing a lower judge who dismissed such much of the case ignored key evidence. And so what I was getting at was that somebody had actually, when I posted, I went down this Marilyn Manson rabbit hole. Of course, somebody had to pull up the assault case and how they believed him. And I'm like, that's, kudos to you. If you believe, you believe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And I guess because of Marilyn's reputation and how he comes across in a lot of situations, that maybe there was some grooming and maybe there was some abuse or whatever the case was going on in the relationship. I don't want to sit and blame drugs on the situation, but yes, I have noticed that Marilyn Manson is sober. He has lost a lot of weight. And he sounds good vocally. It seems like the old Manson is back. But if there were some things that went on in the past that he had did or whatever, then yes, you should pay the price for it. And I'm conflicted because it's like, I'm a fan of Marilyn Manson's music, And yeah, in the past, when Twiggy got caught out, that as in Ramirez got, was a part of the band at one point, was called out on some abuse allegations and stuff. Manson did immediately fire him from the band. And I think I did see a picture a couple of years ago of them too, have been cordial and stuff with each other. But it's just like, yeah, I hope that this situation isn't true. But anyway, let's get to the story. So in March of 2022, Manson sued Wood over the malicious falsehood of the abuse allegations she made against him and alleged the actress derailed his successful music, TV, and film career by accusing him of allegedly encouraging others to do the same. Because there was a point where after those allegations came out, he was supposed to appear in, I think that he was dropped from his label. He has signed to a new label. He's independent now, which I guess is smart because y'all signing these majors, these major label deals are crap. I believe he was supposed to appear in an episode of Creepshow, which is on Shudder, but because of the stuff that had happened in regards to these allegations, they immediately dropped him from the episode that he was. I think he already filmed stuff, and they removed that episode. And then I believe he was supposed to appear in another film or something or another, but they wound up cutting him out of some other things that he was supposed to be doing. So they also said that Wood, who's 36, who dated Manson, 55, between 2006 to 2011, accused the musician of SA and misconduct in 2021. Manson has denied all the allegations. In a new legal document obtained by TMZ, Manson has argued his lawsuit against the actress should never have been thrown out and claims he has proof she and on-off romantic partner Ilma Gore forged an FBI letter that accused the rocker of being under the investigation of SA women, including the allegedly forged letter in his filing. Manson claims Wood only filed a declaration that she herself did not forge the letter and did not deny that it was a forgery. He also claims Wood spread falsehoods about him, solicited information from his ex-employees, manufactured fictitious emails, and swatted him at his home to spread her claims. Manson also claimed the lower court judge in the case did not take into consideration that one of his accusers recanted her allegations of abuse and claimed she felt pressured by Wood into lying about Manson. DailyMail.com has contacted reps for Evan and Manson for comment. Now, Manson's original lawsuit accused Wood and Gore, real name Ashley Gore, of impersonating an FBI agent to distribute a forged letter to create the false appearance that Manson's alleged victims and their families were in danger. The performer also claims Wood and Gore created a fake email address to make it look as if Manson sent her illicit pornography, and that the pair orchestrated a swatting incident at his LA home last month. Now, here's the thing, what I want to say on that before I move on. Now, if you create a fake email addresses and stuff, can't you kind of trace the IP address and then, or get cybercrimes in on the situation and have them do a, situation where they could check and see where the IP address leads and then find out if you created this whole situation. And if she's out here forging things and pretending to be FBI, because you're an actress, you was on Westworld. I did love Westworld, even though they did, and I'm still mad that they canceled the show. But if you was out here faking and doing all this other stuff just to set him up, and he could bring all this evidence forth, wouldn't she go to jail for impersonating an FBI agent? Or that the whole fake email thing? I would say get cybercrimes in on it. The complaint also stated that Wood, who has accused Manson of abuse in SA, and Gore provided checklists and scripts listing specific acts of abuse for prospective accusers to claim against Manson, including that he filmed the SA of a minor. Now, if all this went down, wouldn't they be able to go in a similar situation like they did with Austin Wolf? They would be proof of all of this. Excuse me. Wood had previously said Manson brainwashed and manipulated into submission, and that he started grooming her when she was a teenager and horrifically abused her for years. She also claimed the musician coerced her into a commercial act under false pretenses and essentially R-ed her on camera. Now, I don't want to pull this other picture up because here is the the girlfriend that he was referring to that was also in on the whole impersonation of an officer. That's Miss Ilya Gore. Shout out to Manson because I love his artwork too. Like I like all that weird abstract art. They also said that Manson's suit claimed Wood, with the help of Gore, fabricated her allegations against Manson in an effort to provide more manufactured content for Phoenix Rising, which both women worked on. Gore and Wood are accused of recruiting, coordinating, and pressuring women into making false accusations against Manson. Now, in addition to alleging the women provided Manson's accusers with script responses and a checklist of 21 fabricated acts of abuse, the complaint also states that Gore solicited prospective accusers by phone, text message, email, and or social media with the following message. Manson accused the pair of distributing fictitious letters attributed to a real-life federal agent and included a forged signature and fake phone number for that agent, warning his accusers of being endangered. The complaint states the FBI agent listed on the letter confirmed she did not author or approve the note and claimed she had no knowledge of its existence. Manson's counsel claims a text exchange between Gore and Wood using the nickname Alabama confirms they penned the letter together. It also alleged Wood submitted the forged letter in a California custody proceeding as supposed evidence for why she should be able to move her son, Jack Matfin Bell, to Tennessee. Wood has testified that Manson threatened that he would F Bell, which he did not. Child, you talking about that you was going to have sexual relationships with the kid? And they said Manson first learned of the alleged accounts and emails in November of 2021. The complaint also accused Gore of hacking into Manson's computer, phone, and email account, obtaining his passwords and social security number. Let me put it back on this one. And they said the artist is accused of using info she obtained as part of her alleged hacking scheme to orchestrate and promulgate false accusations against Warner. That would be Brian Warner, for those of you who don't know Manson's government name. Manson also claims that Gore orchestrated a swatting incident against him on February 3rd, 2021 by sending police to look for him under false pretenses. This was shortly after Wood came forward with her abuse allegations. Now, on that date, Los Angeles police were notified by the FBI that Gore, identifying as a friend of Manson, had expressed concern for the musician's safety after she had been reportedly been unable to reach him. Police responded to the alleged emergency, and when Manson did not answer the door, additional officers were called to the scene. The suit argues, noting that LAPD helicopters circled his home and shone a spotlight into his windows. Officers reportedly returned to the property multiple times before entering the residence and determining there was no evidence of any trouble. Now, Gore's report was false. Manson was at home with his wife and a guest and not in any danger. Gore knew her report was false. She and Warner have never even met. She has never been Warner's friend and had no basis to believe Warner posed any risk of danger to himself. This is according to the complaint. Additionally, the rock star has accused Gore of slander. So they said Wood in 2018 appeared in front of Congress in support of the nationwide implementation of the SA Survivors Bill of Rights Acts, delivering testimony about past SA she had suffered without naming Manson at the time, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. A lot of stuff. And, you know, there are several women who have, I should point out, there are several women who have sued him in recent years with allegations of SA and other abuses. Most have been dismissed or settled, including a suit filed by Game of Thrones actor Esme Bianco. So this is a mess. Like I said, I love Marilyn Manson, so I'm conflicted. And now some of the things have been, I mean, I do wonder in regards to the whole situation of where they said that things were settled. What does that mean? Because you know what? Michael Jackson also settled suits. And a lot of times people settle doesn't necessarily mean they're guilty. It's just the fact that they tied and they're being caught up in litigation and they just want it to go away. So if he got the evidence, like I say many a times when it comes to situations on this show, if you have the evidence, make sure the evidence is there that you can present in front of a judge with your attorneys and all the other stuff to see if there's some validity there. And so that way he could be vindicated. But like I said, I understand it's really hard. Like when you're a fan of someone's music and their artistry and their creativity and stuff. Like I am a Manson fan. I've seen him quite a few times in concert. So I really hope that these things aren't true, and that, you know, when it comes to people say, oh, because of his reputation and how he comes across, especially, you know, how he presents himself as an artist and through his music and some of the lyrical content and all the other stuff, you know, it's easy to believe these sort of situations. So as many a times as I've said with many other people that we've had, from R. Kelly on down to Harvey Weinstein and some of the others, you have the evidence and you present it in front of, and even Nick, and we'll even add Nick Carter. I almost said Nick Cannon. Nick Carter in the situation, which I heard stories about that could possibly be true about Nick Carter. But you know, those allegations, especially what he did to that singer from the group Dream. But, and, you know, bring the stuff to court. And if you have all the evidence and all the paperwork and all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, then we'll take it from there. But for now, innocent until proven guilty. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I will be keeping abreast of the story as it develops. I pretty much think I hit all my cylinders with my overall thoughts. But let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, let's get to a couple of. Oh, look, Robert's in the building. He said Oasis couldn't survive the Spice Girls. 6 months, it was done because pop came in full blast with 5 girls of 5 different flavors. And yeah, the sound of music changed. Like, it was all about that whole indie rock, Lollapalooza, Lilith Fair type of vibe, grunge, all that other stuff. And then once we got into the late 90s, it became more about, you know, the Spice Girls and NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and having that whole bubblegum pop era. So that's kind of, and then of course we had like rap metal. So we started going to that with like NSYNC, but not NSYNC. They're not rap metal. What am I talking about? Linkin Park. We had Linkin Park. We had Limp Bizkit. We had Incubus. Speaking of which, Incubus had a show last night at the Garden. I didn't work it, but you know, Incubus had a show. So yeah, it was all that stuff. You know, we had Slipknot and Stained and POD. I was a POD fan. Papa Roach, like it was that whole sound. Damn, y'all taking me back to my childhood. As someone who grew up with Marilyn, how does it feel to see someone you admire have a fall from grace? I feel like I'm witnessing. I mean, and then we saw when Nicki Minaj on social media windmilling for that man that she married to, while he in the background. Yeah, that's right. I was like, girl. And then people in the comments on the black blogs, like the neighborhood, Nikki always been like that. And I'm sitting there like, so y'all just going, I mean, where she always talked to the fans. I said, this is what y'all focusing on, but not focusing on the fact that she actually lied on Jennifer Huff and lied and said that the father wasn't in the room. I was like, first of all, sis, how did you even know who was in where when you weren't there at the time? You were going based off of what he told you. But then, of course, the court people or whoever had to leak the video and show that he gave permission for them to interrogate his child. So daddy was in the room, but nobody wants to talk about that. Y'all want to sit and talk about everything else. I hate when people don't stay on topic. I was trying to think of the damn word, topic. But yeah, but they're saying he's having a fall from grace. I would say that happened years ago, but I have noticed that Marilyn Manson's making a comeback. A lot of people are responding to his 2 new songs. His tours have been selling out, even the European tours. I think out of the 10 shows that he has overseas, 3 of them have not sold out as of yet, but all the other shows have sold out. In America, he's selling out his shows. I don't know if I don't even think Marilyn Manson's ever done an arena tour. He does a lot of smaller venues, which I think is pretty smart on his part because that's how you get the coins. And maybe it is calculated that he does have a female guitarist on his tour with him now. But I've been liking the new music that he's been coming out with lately. I hope it's not true, but it is what it is. It said, how are you handling the video coming out proving Jennifer was telling? Of course she was telling the truth. And he even said, like, oh, she's a nice girl who doesn't do nothing. She don't bother nobody. She just goes and does her homework. And I've helped her with her homework a couple of times and sat there and lied in that damn video talking about, oh no, I ain't had no girls in my room and da. But how they get all them photos of your room description, everything. The lady was okay. I'm gonna ask you the questions. Sitting up there lying through his goddamn teeth, and she was like, "Okay, y'all thinking this is my first time at the damn rodeo?" Miss Mama's went bam, pulled out all the photos. Is this your room? Is that your dresser? Is that knife? And is that a knife in your house? Yes. And say, see, and it's sitting there lied through his damn teeth, and she caught his ass out there. So how much evidence do y'all fucking need? And this is what irritates me about people. Y'all will sit there and windmill for people who don't even know who the fuck y'all are. Nikki don't give a damn about it. She don't know y'all. She's not inviting y'all to her house to have a barbecue or a cookout. She's not giving y'all free shit. So I don't understand why y'all sitting here defending a bunch of damn celebrities you don't know. For what? She married a rapist. If that's who she want to be married to, that's who she got to wake up to every night, every day of the night or whatever. That's her decision. And kudos to you. That's who she got to. I ain't got to fuck. I don't have to fuck Kenneth. I don't have to wake up to him every night. So I don't give a damn. But when evidence is laid out in front of y'all, when there's actual proof that people lied on this girl, that they pretty much, defamed her as a human being, y'all still gonna believe the celebrity? Even when the evidence has been released in the court of law? Even when you've seen the interpret, they doctored the footage. Really? From 1994? Get off my line with that bullshit. It's like, I can't speak to the cult members. I can't, because there's no getting through to y'all. Y'all gonna believe what y'all gonna believe at the end of the day. It's like, y'all know different than damn Trump supporters. You sit and pull out the evidence and all this other shit, and you're look, quiet as, and I'll get to y'all other ones. Quiet as it's kept. That's why I'm not working her show next week. I said I already worked her show once. I'm not doing that shit again. I was so irritated working that whole night. Now, shout out to the Barbs that I was conversing with and stuff, and because y'all were cool people. But her show and the way she puts things together and the pacing, it was like, it's almost like watching that new Crow movie. The pacing was bad. It's like, how's it an action movie, but it's like you dragging the whole time to get to the good shit. But anyway, back to the ones that I missed. Okay, it says Sabrina tweeted, "This one's for Nikki," in reference to the 2018 #1 album battle she had with Travis during the Queen era. Oh yeah, I forgot Travis Scott had a new album that came out. I added that to my list on Apple Music of albums I need to listen to. And I'm still mad at y'all because none of y'all told me that I was like, that Brooke Candy released a new damn album. I'm still cussing y'all out over that. I was like, how nobody told me Brooke Candy released a new album? But I forgot that I added Travis Scott's new album. Because you know what? With all the controversy and all stuff, I do like Travis Scott's music. But yeah, I totally forgot that he released a record, but I haven't gotten around to listening to it yet. Days Before Rodeo. That's the name of the record. I had to look it up real quick on my Apple Music. So yeah, I really haven't listened to that record yet, but I'm gonna get around to it tomorrow. Or well, this weekend, I'll say. And then Nikki shouted her out on IG Live while she was sitting on her chair. Manson's from Ohio and has always creeped me out with his music. I did like his contributions. Well, you know what? It's funny. I was watching some YouTube video and they were talking about how, you said his contribution to the Matrix soundtrack. I forgot to realize, like, speaking of The Crow, people don't realize how influential that movie has been on so many films and music soundtracks. Like, before there was the Mortal Kombat soundtrack, which I bought, the Matrix soundtrack, which I bought. There were so many soundtracks that came out in those times that really like got people in the Spawn soundtrack. Even though the movie was shit, I did like the soundtrack. The Crow basically walked so many of these other people could run in regards of how they did things. It was like, if it wasn't for The Crow, we wouldn't have especially when you talk about the visuals and overall looks, we wouldn't have the Matrix, we wouldn't have had Daredevil, we wouldn't have had Blade. We wouldn't have had, like, so many people took their influence from The Crow. And The Crow doesn't get its just due. And I think it's because Brandon Lee died while making that movie. So there's no one there to constantly remind people of the influence of that film, except whenever they decide to try to reboot it or people bring it up on YouTube. But other than that, people ain't really bringing it up like that. Listen, Nikki's husband's going to, if he hasn't already, she'll have her supporters. She'll always have those hardcore fans that'll support whatever she does, as most celebrities do. But for the most part, I do agree that he is going to be, everybody's got their Achilles heel, and we know hers is Kenneth Petty. Nikki was live on TikTok acting like that one girl every time somebody sent her a gift. I joined immediately after she started her live. Well, I knew because you were Barb, you was going to watch. But that's why I said I love the ones that are fans of people, but are sane enough to call their favorites out on the bullshit. Because I do the same thing. I was like, yeah, just because I have my fave, Madonna is like my top go-to. But when she do cringe shit, I call it out. I don't think that celebrities should not be, or anybody is beyond reproach. And those are the people I prefer. I don't like yes people, as Ron just pointed out. It's like, I don't like yes people around me. I don't like, because it's like they cloud your judgment. Are they really rooting for you, or are they secretly trying to plot your downfall? And so I don't want no yes people around me. Now, speaking of mischief, let's move on to our next topic, which is Kyle Rich's husband out here pulling stunts with them PPP loans. I'm like, well, goddamn, you might be going to jail, sir. So apparently Mauricio Umansky is being sued for allegedly obtaining more than $3.5 million in fraudulent pandemic relief loans. And you know what? There's a lot of people that was coming around doing that. You know what? Sometimes I get upset that I didn't capitalize on that whole PPP shit. But I guess at the time I wasn't really serious about a business and all other stuff. If I was really, I think I had just started getting more serious into, excuse me, into more podcasting, celebrity, doing the whole celebrity news gossip on video. I started around like as we were kind of getting out of the pandemic, so I didn't capitalize on it in the beginning. If I had that whole situation on lock, I probably would have taken a PPP loan and started a business, but I wasn't smart enough to think that far ahead as of yet. Now I'm starting to do it. I've got more serious over the years, in the past 2 years. But in the beginning, no. And I wish I would have. I mean, I wouldn't have pulled a stunt like Mauricio. But there's a lot of them out here, and now he the latest. So they said the estranged husband of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star got sued alongside his real estate company for deceiving the government. He allegedly obtained $3.5 million in loans meant for struggling businesses. The court recently unsealed the lawsuit, which was initially filed under seal in July of 2023. Ooh, they petty. Because they had it sealed up, and now it was like, we're going to just kind of pull the thread a little bit and just let it, the thread come out. Now it's fully out. The same month, coverage of Mauricio Umansky confirmed they were separated but not divorcing. You think Kyle leaked that? And she was like, you know what? You done did me wrong. You cheated on me. Been cheating on me throughout the whole marriage. So now I'm gonna tell people you was out here doing PPP loan fraudulent shit. Somewhere, Kathy Hilton is cackling over this mess. Because y'all already know, I don't know if y'all know the history behind the fact that he was mad because Rick Hilton, Kathy's husband, didn't make him partner. All the work he said he was doing as a real estate agent. And they was like, no, you're not ready, or whatever the case was. He got pissed, so he decided to quit. He took some of the clientele with him and created the agency. And now this tea coming out that he was, being fraudulent with the coin titles. So the unsealed court document painted an unflattering image of Umansky, his business partner William Billy Rose, and their real estate company, The Agency. The complaint filed by Realtor LLC accused him of abusing a loan system for profits, saying this is a case around greed during a national health emergency. The plaintiff alleged, claiming Umansky and Rose used the agency to apply and receive 2 payroll protection programs, that's what PPP stands for in case y'all didn't know, and CARES Act loans they did not need. The complaint explained that the programs were created to prevent the termination of employees by providing loans to businesses that could not pay them because of the impacts of COVID-19. The PPP and CARES Act was not enacted to bolster or preserve the profits of a business that had sufficient funds available to pay its employees. This is the document obtained by In Touch Stress, claiming businesses like Umansky abused the system. The suit bashed Umansky and his business partner for misrepresenting the agency's financial situation to make themselves eligible for the PPP and CARES Act loans. Their real estate company wasn't in a state of distress and allegedly grew amid the pandemic. Ciao. The agency, per the documents, had $6 billion in sales volume in 2019, but enjoyed an increase in $6.5 billion in 2020. Their sales skyrocketed to $11.2 billion in 2021. Despite this growth, the defendant said that it was falsely certified that current economic uncertainty makes this loan request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the applicant and that they needed the loans to pay their employees, a requirement for eligibility for PPP loans. Now, Realtor LLC noted that Umansky and other defendants obtained $3.5 million through their deceitful conduct. They were given $2.3 million during round 1 of the Paycheck Protection Program and $1.1 million in round 2. On that note, the realtor implored the court to enter judgment against each defendant in an amount equal to 3 times the damages that the United States has sustained because of the defendant's actions. They said the cry for punishment didn't end there, with the plaintiff pushing for a civil penalty of not less than $12,537 and not more than $25,076 for each of every false claim they are required by law. Now, although Umansky and other defendants are yet to file their legal response to the complaint, a rep for the agency denied the allegations in a statement. They claim the company has always cooperated with the highest level of integrity in all aspects of their business. Well, look, if they can prove all this in the court, like I said, if you have your I's dotted, your T's crossed, y'all wasn't out here creating fraud, then you have to prove that in the court of law. I guess they're going to have to look at your tax situation and seeing if y'all were kind of cooking the books, whatever the case is, and we'll find out. But y'all, if you was out here stealing that good old cointada, you might end up going to jail. So I'll definitely be keeping abreast of this story as it develops. I am curious as to how Kyla's feeling about this, because with the whole thing with Erica Jane the other day, where I said her estranged husband, because I don't think they're divorced. Tom Girardi has been sentenced allegedly he about to get 80 years in prison for stealing them people's money, for creating a whole Ponzi scheme. And now you got Mauricio with this drama. I'm wondering, because I don't know if they've done filming the upcoming season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is good tea that y'all need to be asserting in the show, so we can see how Kyla's feeling about this bit of news dropping. And y'all need to get her opinion on this, even if you don't get to ask her what her thoughts are, like TMZ, so you heard the news about Mauricio and the PPP thing. How would you feel? Bravo producers, y'all need to be getting them cameras in their face and trying to see if she's going to speak out about this or whatever her overall thoughts about this. And y'all need to get this on camera, just like y'all need to get Erica Jane on camera in regards to the thing with Tom Girardi. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever y'all thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now let's lighten up the mood, because we was going too much in a whole bunch of drama with people and fraudulent behaviors and things. Let's get into some music news. So let's talk about Miss T-Boz, who apparently recently did an interview with The Breakfast Club, and she was talking about how she might be considering retiring. Now, hold on, because I was like, I need to pause this video so that way I can pull it up for y'all in context. So T-Boz Watkins, who was recently hospitalized for a severe intestinal blockage, sat down for an interview with The Breakfast Club and revealed that she had to recently cancel a number of TLC concerts, gave fans an update on her health, and even weighed on possibly retiring from the music industry. Now, with her retirement, I'm going to give y'all my overall thoughts on that in a second, but hold on as I pull up this clip for y'all to watch. Oh, wait, I was like, where is it? Okay, here it is. Please.
T-Boz, we grown as hell now. Is it harder to tour as you get older? Do you want to even leave the house?
You see, Usher, child, it's hard for everybody. Hell, everybody out here getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? So the average person touring is hard. Like, don't you ain't gotta have a disease to take a break or get an injury. It's hard out here. My dancers be broke down at 20. You know what I'm saying? So no, I ain't gonna lie. Like, yeah, things are harder. That's why I'm gearing up to retire. Probably next year it will be my last. So if y'all want to come see TLC, I suggest you do it now, because I'm not gonna be doing this much longer, because I am 54. But I'm blessed. I was told I wouldn't live till I wouldn't look past 30. I'm 54, still on stage, selling out arenas and in stadiums. Like, come on, man, traveling the world. This is like a dream and something that I prayed for, and God gave it to me. So when God and my body says it's time to stop, then I will stop. I ain't crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to kill myself doing this.
How did you know?
First of all,
and I don't dance as much as I used to. I want to put that out there. Like, I know how to
So you only
myself
dropped down
now.
just a little bit.
Yeah, I ain't up there talking about, I still got it. I ain't Eddie Kane in it. You know, like, nice like this. I ain't out here.
How did you know it was time to retire? You just said the word retire, and it kind of made my heart drop a little bit. Like, what made you? Is it just because
touring?
Got you. Okay. You got to clear. Okay, because when you said that, I was like, hold on. Wait.
No, I ain't going nowhere. I'm still going to be doing other things, but retire from touring because it is hard on your body. And because I have sickle cell, I don't want to, when it's time to spend time with my children, I don't want to, you know, be like broke down Benny, you know, tow it from the flow up. No. So I'm going to stop and do other things so I can spend more time with my children and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I think, like, we'll stop it there. So y'all pretty much got the gist of it all. And it's like, you know what? I've been a fan of TLC since as long as I can remember. I grew up listening to them as a kid. You know, Crazy, Sexy, Cool, one of my all-time favorite albums. Not only that, also, what was the other one? Fan Mail? Was that the one that, I think I was a fan of that album too, but mostly Crazy Sexy Cool. Everybody knows that was like the big breakout album. Ooh, on the TLC tip, that was the debut album. I've always been a fan of TLC, and you know, they've gone through a lot from losing left eye in the car accident in Honduras. Somebody had to correct me on that because I said Colombia by accident. But I'm like, shit, same shit, different tone. They all got rainforests where they at and hot Latin men. But it was Honduras where she, you know, died with the whole thing with Dr. Sebi when I was bringing that up. And when we were talking about Wendy Williams. So, you know, they lost left eye. Then they had to perform as a duo. They were trying to figure out how to make it work. Then I remember they had the reality show that we were trying to look for a rapper. I don't want to say to replace left eye, but I guess to help them out on tour where they was like, they can have another female rapper in the group. Apparently that didn't work out. But they had Also Crispy. Whatever happened to her? Because remember Also Crispy back in the day when she was the one that was chosen on that show? I think, what was it called? Are You the Girl? I think it was the name of the show. And it was on UPN. The You People's Network. That's what I used to call that damn channel. Because they all had hood booger shows up on there. I couldn't stand the UPN. Because just the horrible homeboys from outer space. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's bring it back. And then, you know, Chili been out here, I guess, running behind Matthew Lawrence while his brother, no good ass, out here allegedly cheating on his current wife with a co-star for one of them Hallmark movies. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But I don't care enough to talk about Joey Lawrence because that just wasn't it. I mean, he's not that interesting. But anyway, Chili is dating his brother. And I do agree with T-Boz, where it's just like, y'all don't realize after a while when you're doing all that touring, it does take its toll on your body. And I don't blame her for being in her mid-50s that she's not out here working overtime with the choreography. If you, who's gonna be out here dancing hard? Like, that's why I have to give it up to Madonna, who was at T-Boz age, still keeping up with these 20-year-old dancers. And like T-Boz says, like, my dances be broken down and all this other stuff. And the amount of stamina, the amount of choreography, the amount of energy that you have to put up in traveling from city to city and probably going around the world and you on a plane and how that affects your blood and all this other stuff, you know, when you get in those blood clots or whatever the case is. Like, it's a lot that goes into touring. So I'm not mad at T-Boz being like, you know, I'm retiring from touring because it's like it takes its toll. And then you got to think on top of that, she had the clogation in her body. She also had sickle cell. Then you hear some of the others who are going through their illnesses trying to perform. You got Celine Dion going through her mess and trying to still be out here and perform. You got what's the other one? You got Toni Braxton, where she got lupus, or is it lupus or Lyme disease? I think it's lupus. She had lupus, and then she also had like the situation with her heart, where they had to stick a staff in her heart. She talked about that on the Braxton show. So there's a lot of them, and that's why I think a lot of times where I'm not mad at a lot of these artists who decide I'm not going to be traveling around the world. I'm going to do a Vegas residency. Y'all going to play me a flat fee, and well, not a flat fee, but you know what I'm saying. I'm going to do this deal in Vegas where I can just be in one place where I could perform. And I prefer that than having to travel. I mean, it's a great opportunity if you get to travel around the world, but y'all don't realize the physical toll that it takes in your body. So I'm not mad at her over that. And I was sitting there thinking, you know what? It would have been nice to see T-Boz on tour with the Queens of R&B. It'd have been nice to see her back on to see her in that tour. And I'm wondering why she wasn't a part of that, because it was like you would have had T-Boz along with all the other girls. Who they had on that? They had OMG girls, they had Maya, they had Total, where they didn't have all their members. So if you had certain girls or certain girl groups where you ain't got, especially Escape, they ain't had Latasha wide back ass up in there and that horrible ass husband of hers to fuck up the situation, to mess up their money. So it would have been cool if they would have had TLC a part of that. That would have been lit. But TLC was off doing their own thing. And, kudos to them. So it's unfortunate we're not going to get to see TLC doing anything. But you know what? Everything that has a beginning has an end. And if she want to move on because she's more or less concerned for her health and living a long life to be there for her kids, I ain't mad at her. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all sad to hear that T-Boz is talking about retiring because, she's going through some things with her health? But I'm like, girl, put your health before anything. And I know people get mad at Usher from when he was going. I was like, child, he's 45 years old, still trying to do them. And y'all be getting mad at, oh, he ain't got it no more. Oh, he can't keep it. I was like, he's 45. He's going to be 46 in October. You really think Usher going to be out here doing them crazy ass choreography and moves and shit that he was doing when he was 20? Your body ain't really feeling it when you that young. But when you get to your 40s, trust and believe, it takes days or a day for your body to recover from all the things, all the stress that you're putting on your body. So we got to pay for that. And plus, that man been working hard, like between the Super Bowl situation, and then he was traveling and doing the residency in Paris, I believe. And then now he's doing a regular tour in America. Like, you got to learn a lot of y'all got to learn to listen to y'all body. I get the pressure and y'all want to keep living the lifestyle that you've been accustomed to, but listen to y'all bodies. Don't be out here killing yourselves. Like, we can actually say no to shit now. Our generation, we just put our head down and kept moving and doing whatever we needed to do. Gotta learn to listen to y'all bodies, because you only get one body per lifetime. So let me know what y'all guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's move on from T-Boz to Christina Aguilera, or I should say from T-Boz to X-Tina, who is back with a vengeance as the pop legend covered the September issue of Paper Magazine. And I have to say, I was living for a lot of the photos. Everybody talking about she on the old Ozempic and stuff. She got old Christina body back, like Genie in the Bottle physical. She's back to her old Genie with a bottle look. Child. This picture is sending me the one where she got her coochie up in the air. I was like, okay, Christina, ain't nobody trying to hit you in the back like that. But if you like it, I love it. So now, in addition to the magazine's article, a high fashion spread, the Genie in a Bottle singer, who's 43, reflected on the 25th anniversary of her self-titled debut album. She also set the record straight on her cult classic album, Bionic. Now, here's what the Not Myself Tonight singer had to say about her Bionic era. She said the following. She said, Bionic was not a huge song, but I can't tell you how much love I get from that specific album. You listen to that song now and it holds up. At the end of the day, you look at the actual body of work. Whenever I'm not around anymore, for generations to come, they can enjoy different aspects of what I did, and that music lives on. It's about the bigger picture. And I think the problem that a lot of people had when it came to Christina was that they were feeling like she kept jumping into different genres. And I'll say this, regardless of how you feel about Christina, one thing I did like about her musically was the fact that she did jump in different genres of music, and she did always experiment, whether you resonated with the music or not. I do love the idea that she did change up, her sound, and she always tried different things. Unlike everybody else who sat and just tried to give y'all the same goddamn record every album. She also went on to say, Bionic was an adventurous album. I was very inspired at the time by electronica music, by MIA and Ladytron, Switch and John Hill, who are incredible producers. They knew how to piece together these intricate electronic sounds, and these are newer to the ear. At the end of the day, sometimes things happen in pop culture and people aren't ready for it. But it's not for me to really know and dissect because I put something out there that I truly loved and still love to this day. Bionic and Vanity, those records are so fun to perform live and get the audience hype and stand the test of time. Now, while reviews were mixed at the time of Bionic's release, Christina continued to defend the record and said, I make that decision before I released it. It's almost like you're protective of your child. If I send this out into the world, it's not mine anymore. You want to protect it and love it, and you don't want people to be mean to it, like a child. But at the same time, I'm not going to shy away from a challenge. If you're a real artist, you're going to put yourself out there. You get it to a place where it's like, no matter what somebody can say about it, I love it. I can't be broken because it's a part of me. It's real. That's why I don't hold weight in numbers or in other people's opinions, because it's so easy to critique and cast judgment, but it comes from the territory. It comes with the territory. I get it. You have to be able to stay authentic or else you lose your own sense of self and creativity. And then she also opened up a bit on how she approaches pop music. Or making music, I should say. She said, I never was intended on making the same record over and over again. That's my worst idea in music. It's part of our jobs as musicians to see where music is moving and see what's happening socially. It really is about connecting and trying to bring people together. I'm not a machine. I'm not a number. I'm a human who wants to connect on every human level. So a lot of people, it's about numbers because numbers generate dollars, and that's when it becomes business and stale to me, the ugly beast of the creative business. Excuse me. Success is great. It brings people together. It generates conversation, but I will never be part of the creative world in a way that jeopardizes my own integrity. And I think that's probably why, in a way, we look at Christina as like, you know what? Oh, you'll never be like Britney Spears. And y'all never, but at the end of the day, Christina Aguilera can look back, whether you like her or not, she can look back at her body of work and say, you know what? I did not compromise my artistic integrity for the sake of money, success, fame, and glamour. A lot of times when it came to her broader ideas, it was more of a miss than a hit. Britney was someone who came across as like a pop puppet and still gets painted with that brush, as she was like some manufactured, pop star. Whereas Christina was sort of, I guess, because Britney was so damn big, it was good, it was easy for her to go off and do her own thing and experiment and try different things. And I know like Bionic did get a lot of shit back in the day. Even Lady Gaga, was getting all upset and aired her grievances to Perez Hilton that at the time when The Fame was coming out, Bionic was also being worked on. I think they were even working in the same building together, like the same recording studio, not the same room. But there, when you go to certain recording studios, there are many rooms that a lot of artists work out of. And Christina, I believe, was recording Bionic at the time that Lady Gaga was recording The Fame era. And people looked at, and Lady Gaga apparently, according to Perez, aired her grievances. It was like, well, oh, here she trying to copy me. And it was like, okay, so the similarity between you two was the fact that y'all both were working on electro pop records. The difference is Lady Gaga's sound, I believe, was a little more defined. When you listen to Bionic is, you get those electronic references, but definitely I feel like hers was more, it tapped more into underground sounds. Like when I listened to Christina, I was a fan of Lady Tron. Still listen to a lot of electro clash music. I still listen to, even though she is problematic and I just heard a dumb bitch just supported Trump, I do listen to some of MIA songs and La Tigra and a lot of those type of artists who did come up in that whole electro clash era. Even Peaches, like there were a lot of those elements and sonically a lot of those sounds are in the whole Bionic era. So there's a little edge to it, which is why I think a lot of people didn't really resonate with that. And I do, and child, to this day, I still listen to Not Myself Tonight, even though the song wasn't, the video was inspired by Express Yourself. But who was it? Because Lady Gaga's Born This Way was also inspired by Express Yourself. So we already know Madonna's the blueprint. And I think that's probably where Christina was coming from in regard to recording that album. A lot of people always look to Madonna because Madonna was always the one pushing the envelope and experimenting with a lot of those underground sounds. And I do love the fact that she took that risk in regards of, sonically with that whole record. So Bionic was definitely ahead of its time. And like I said, besides I was thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking, but I was thinking of Back to Basics. That was the record that I feel like. But Back to Basics and Bionic are like my top two go-to Christina records. I don't visit a lot of Christina Aguilera's music, but if I went my go-tos in regards of the eras that gave me my life, Back to Basics and Bionic. But I visit Bionic way more than I do any of her other body of work because I'm a house head. I'm a person who I love not only house music and dance music as a whole, but I also like experimental electronics type of music as well. So I still have to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all also defenders of Christina's Bionic era? And if y'all definitely want to read the rest of that article of the Paper Magazine article, you could definitely head over to my website, chrisavalon.com, and check that out. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. As much as I love to trash on Tina, I can't deny how much I love Bionic. Her attitude just turns people off. And I think that's what it is that a lot of people, I think that's what rubs people the wrong way. It's like, girl, you are talented. We love your songs and your music, and you have, even though you do kind of get treated like second fiddle, even down to that VMA performance, where everybody forgets that Christina was a part of that too, but Britney gets a brunt of the accolades because her part was cut because we had to get Justin Timberlake's reaction. I do feel like her attitude is what has been the issue that people have with her. So it said, Christina is another Aquarius rising, just like me and Nikki, who was also on the track. Oh, yeah, I do like that Woohoo song. What was the other one that I like? Desnudare. There's a couple of songs off that record that I like. I have to say the first half of that album, I live for it. The second half, I feel like Rebel Heart, there are times with Bionic where the album feels a bit over bloated. It feels a bit bloated. Like there's way too many songs. You could have made some cuts. But for overall, it's like the first half of Bionic I enjoyed. The second I was like, okay, I'm getting tired of this record. I have to turn it off. Got to take a break. Yeah, I do. Yeah, Peaches is on Bionic. I like Back to Basics, but it's too damn long. Xena says she made Back to Basics because she didn't like auto-tune and how electronic music was becoming popular on Bionic. Well, look, the thing with Bionic is that so the thing with dance music that I like is that it gives you the opportunity to play around with your vocals. It's kind of like the thing also with Adam Lambert and Afters. If you listen to Afters, he's playing around with his singing. He's taking a bit more risks regard. We know he could blow the house down with his vocals. We know he could rival Tina in regards to the singing department. We know he could sing his ass off. But when you listen to Afters, he's playing around with his vocals. He's having fun. He's on and he's experimenting. That's what I think the difference is with. You have your people who could sing the house down in house music too. When you listen to the Gloria Gaynors and the Pepper Mache's and the Martha Washes and all that stuff. Yeah, and Whitney Houston with It's Not Right, but It's Okay remix. The Thunderpuss remix. When you hear that, it's like, yeah, they sing their asses off with that. But I always like when people play around. And that's what she kind of did with that. She took a break from trying to be like a yang, which she annoys me because I can't stand vocal masturbators. It's like, bitch, we know you can sing. We know the showing off it's irritating. Now it's sort of like, just have fun. And it seemed like she was having fun with that record. Okay, so wait, hold on, because I'm seeing I got a lot of messages. This is so annoying. It's like, who sent me 5 minutes? Oh no, who is this with this wig on? Chat, I don't know who that is with that perm giving me what's that person that sang that song? Oh, Jermaine Stewart. We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. Oh no, that's what it was giving me with that hair. I don't know who that picture was in there. That a friend of mine sent me. I was like, you was giving me Jermaine Stewart tease with that perm. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Chappell Roan. Well, apparently being dragged on social media for canceling 2 of her shows in Europe. And says she heartbroken. So Chappell Roan has shared her devastation after having to cancel her concert in Amsterdam and Paris. So on Thursday, August 29th, the rising pop star, who's 26, who is currently on her Midwest Princess tour, announced that her shows in Paris and Amsterdam, which were scheduled for September 3rd and September 4th, respectively, are now canceled due to scheduling conflicts. She also announced that her Berlin show, originally scheduled for August 31st, that's tomorrow, will now be held on September 23rd. Additional tickets will be available for the rescheduled show starting August 30th. So today, you can buy tickets for the rescheduled show. But wait a minute. When they said additional tickets, so I guess that means that the people that already bought tickets, they're going to be compensated when for the new date, and that people can actually buy tickets for that. But here's the thing. What about those people who actually are going to buy tickets for Paris and Amsterdam? What's going to happen with them? So all those people that went and spent money, they're not going to be able to, be compensated? That's messed up. But, people was dragging her because they felt like, oh, well, you talking about you don't like all this fame and everything, but you doing all this to go to the VMAs. So the Pink Pony Club singer shared the news in a statement on Twitter, calling the cancellations an extremely hard decision, saying, "I am so sorry and very disappointed. I promise I'll be back," she wrote. "I'm heartbroken. Thank you for understanding." So yeah, this is the Twitter post. Let's pull that up because we're going to read them comments because the people went in on her in regards to the Twitter comments. But we'll get to those in a second. She said, ticket holders for Paris and Amsterdam, refund will come from point of purchase. Berlin, your tickets will be automatically transferred over to the new date, which is good because I remember when Madonna had to cancel, they shifted my tickets over to a new date. The Good Luck Babe singer did not state what scheduling conflicts led to her cancel and reschedule the tour dates, but it could have something to do with the upcoming VMAs debut. She is slated to perform at the award show on September 11th, after which she will kick off the European leg of the Midwest Princess Tour on September 13th in Manchester. So they're probably thinking that, she needs a couple of days to rehearse to go perform at the VMAs. But here's the thing. I want to know when the actual dates for that tour were supposed to happen, because I'm sure all of that was put in place ahead of time, but you waited to the last minute to cancel? Like almost, what is it? Well, September 11th is next week because September kicks off on Monday. So, and that's the 9th, 10th, 11th. So that's a Tuesday that I believe that the VMAs is supposed to premiere. Not next Tuesday, the following Tuesday. So you already knew all of this was going to be in place, but you waited to the last minute to cancel. To me, that's unprofessional, but let's continue. So after returning to Europe, the Rising Star has even more upcoming shows, including music festival appearances at Austin City Limits and both the New York City and Washington, D.C. iterations of All Things Go Music Festival. News of Roan's rescheduled and canceled tour dates comes after the singer has made headlines not only for her ongoing musical success and memorable performance moments, but also a recent post addressing predatory fan behavior. Now, we already went through all of that and people was mad at her. So one person said, let's get to the comments because those are the more interesting things. They said, respectfully, Chappell, if you hate fame so much, maybe you shouldn't be playing shows like Lollapalooza and the VMAs. If you just want to make music and have people resonate with it, stick to the shows you booked for true fans who got tickets before you became famous. Because it does feel like she is kind of conflicting, going back and forth. At one point, you're out here bitching and moaning and talking about that I need my space and you don't have a right to roll up on me and all this other stuff. And here's the thing, her feelings are valid. She has every right to feel the way that she feels because it's like this has been, it took her 10 years to get this overnight success where she had to, when she was out here grinding and all this other stuff and people really wasn't checking on her like that. Then all of a sudden, like she's ballooned and skyrocketed out of nowhere after working 10 years to get to where she is, even being dropped from a label and being picked up somewhere else. And then, she's getting all this success. Well-deserved because hard work shows it pays off. And I feel like with all of that said, there needs to be some sort of compromise, either with the meet and greet, you figure out a way that you can, have a thing with your fans, or sometimes if you're out, you can compromise in some sort of way. But for this all the time where that nobody can come up to you, I don't know if I agree with that entirely. But also the people said this. So one put, are you effing serious? I have my flight already booked, you effing prostitute. I'm unstanding and go F yourself, MFB. I'm like, well, goddamn. Tell us how you really feel, Triss. Another person said she really chose the VMAs over her fans, but I thought she hated fame. Another person put, choosing the VMAs over your fans is crazy. She has a team and they decide what she does. Leave her alone, OMG. Well, at some point, it's like, yeah, they set up your schedule and all other stuff on what you got to do. But at some point, you could put your foot down with certain situations. If you have obligations, you need to abide by them. But yeah, this is also because she's big now. She's going on the VMAs because it's going to get her more fans. It's going to gain her more of a bigger audience, which means that those people who see her at the VMAs that hear so much about Chappell Roan, they could actually see her in the VMA habitat, watch her perform, and they may actually, because of what they see, buy tickets to her show. So I understand how the business and all this stuff and compromising. But people, your feelings are valid and how y'all feel too. Scheduling conflicts, but the shows were planned months in advance. Make it make sense. Another person put, respectfully, Chappell, if you hate fame so much, maybe you should be. Oh, yeah, I read that one already. That was the one that I screenshot and I read it to y'all. Another person put, be respectful to your fans challenge. Another person put, choosing the VMAs over your fans. Another person put, it's pretty common for artists to cancel their shows in anticipation of award show performances. Chappell isn't the first, and she certainly won't be the last. A lot of y'all are just jumping the bandwagon and hating just to hate. Leave her alone. And we'll read one more and then we'll move on. But they said, by the way, in case some of y'all forgot, she has the VMA performance coming up, which is another reason why she had to cancel and reschedule some of her shows. Don't act as if she's never coming to your city. Just be patient and wait for when a new date is available. Don't be mad at her for making such a tough decision. So that's the overall thought on that. And I want to ask y'all, what do y'all think of this story? I mean, are y'all upset with this whole thing? Or do you agree with Chappell having to make this decision? Like, yeah, she has to go. In a way, she's using this opportunity to promote her music, which you have to come to some sort of compromise when you're in this industry. It's not always all about, oh, yeah, well, I have to do it for the fans. Yeah, the fans are a part of the thing, but she's also, being a part of a label, it's a good way for her to promote her music on a larger scale. Even if people aren't going to watch the VMAs, because I'm sure like the Gen Z can't even find MTV on their damn TV. Because who has cable still? Like for me, I told y'all the only way I'm going to be able to watch the VMAs is because I have Philo. That's how I watch The Challenge and a couple of the other MTV shows. So that's the way that I watch. That's the way I'm going to watch the VMAs. I'm going to record it through Philo. I'm going to watch it and I'll give y'all my overall thoughts on it. But her performance is going to be clipped, I'm sure, on YouTube, and people who don't have MTV will watch it that way and they'll give their opinion. And then with that leads to more people checking out her music. That also leads to people buying tickets for her tour. So she's looking at it looking at the long game. So that's so I say all that to say, what do y'all think of this story? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so Cleveland says MTV Awards show is on. Is it? Well, Tuesday it's in the middle of the damn week, which is weird. I don't even think. I'm wondering if last year it was like that. Oh yeah, you're right, because my birthday is a Monday, which is a second. My cousin, it's funny because my cousin and I are a week apart. I was born. Her mother is born September 1st. I'm September 2nd, and my cousin's daughter was born September 9th. So it's always like if my birthday's on a Monday, her birthday's on a Monday. If my birthday's on a Tuesday, it's on a Tuesday. So yeah, the 9/11 is a Wednesday. I forgot because initially it was on a Tuesday, but then they moved it because of the whole Democratic, not convention, the debate with Kamala and Trump. So And I do agree that she has to capitalize while she's hot. So I get that people are upset. And y'all always say, oh, it's about the fans. And no. It's like, yeah, but this is the music business. And she has to do music business things. And one of them is you got to show up at MTV. I used to work at Viacom, so I know how all that stuff works when it comes to the live music performance and all other stuff. So when it comes down to it, she has to do the business as show business. She has to hold up the business part of the show. She give you the show, but she also got to handle her business. So I know with people, unfortunately, people over in Europe, y'all gonna be mad at them 2 dates she had to drop, but the bigger picture is she'll be there eventually. She doesn't have to figure out how she's gonna balance the fame and the career and how she navigates through that whole world. The bigger she gets, she's got to figure that out. Otherwise, quit. Okay, so now since we on MTV, initially I was going to do the Ice-T story, but I said, let's do Snooki. So Snooki opening up and revealed that on the Therapus, that's such a funny name, podcast on Wednesday that Jersey Shore producers told cops to arrest her in the infamous Where's the Beach scene from July of 2010. So that whole time we were sitting there thinking that she actually got locked up and put in jail. She didn't get locked up. It was all fake for the cameras. And I know people call it, oh, the reality shows are scripted. Reality shows are not scripted. Now, they set up scenarios, plot points or whatever the case is. They do set up situations for people to, like a scene that was like, okay, so you're going to meet at this place and you're going to have a scene with this person. You're going to have this discussion about this certain topic. They do set up situations. But as far as like a script, when y'all say scripted, nobody's sitting there memorizing lines, or this is not SNL where they got freaking cue cards with big words written in bold letters on the side for somebody to read. That's not how they do reality television. So Nicole Snooki Polizzi claimed Jersey Shore producers encouraged cops to arrest her on camera in the show's infamous 2010 beach scene, saying those cops weren't on shift for the town. This is what Polizzi, who's 36, said in Wednesday's episode of the Therapist with Jake Shane podcast, recalling the chaotic scene on the MTV reality series. The incident aired on MTV 2 months after she was handcuffed. She says they were on shift from production to make sure they are protecting us from crazy people, she continued. So I don't even think it's legal because they weren't working for the town. But I watched the video back and one of the producers said, just arrest her. Police recalled that she started to black out when the authorities handcuffed her. That's probably because she was shit-faced drunk. Because remember, we saw that picture where Sammy and I believe Dina were there on the beach and they were trying to get her up, to be focused, get her to walk. She kept falling on the damn sand, rolling around like a big old butterball at the time. And she was a hot ass drunken mess. The Jersey Shore family vacation star was arrested for disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct, and criminal annoyance on July 30th, 2010. 2 months later, the charges were dropped and she was fined $500 and ordered to serve 2 days of community service. So if that was the case, and those guys weren't on duty, then, excuse me, is that even real then? Because you had to pay, she said she had to pay a fine and community service was involved. So I'm confused. Anyway, let's read on. So it says they were on shift from production to make sure they were protecting us from crazy people. Months later, her arrest aired in an episode called Where's the Beach, in which she was seen drinking at her job before making her way to a bar and then the beach where everything unfolded. I woke up that day and I was drinking nonstop. So when you wake up and you feel like the shakes are coming, you're like, I'm gonna throw up, but I have to be on camera and I have to go to this shift. So I woke up still in my party dress with my blanket on, walking to my shift. Once she arrived to work, can you imagine if people did that in a real job? Like, y'all are a mess. She said once she got to work, she drank a 4 Loko, a Long Island iced tea, and a beer in an attempt to stop the shakes. Girl, what are you doing? Especially as tiny as she is. First of all, 4 Loko, that's like gasoline in a damn beer can. I drink that one time. I'm like, how y'all drink this old nasty shit? But I guess because 4 Loko is cheap, it'll give you like a little something. But Long Island iced teas, I used to drink those when I was in my 20s. I don't drink those anymore. I would drink 2 of those and I would be fucked up. And what's worse is a blue Long Island iced tea. I got introduced to those when I went out to Philly. So I had a blue Long Island iced tea, and I was drinking other stuff. And, Long Island iced tea is like every liquor in a glass. So I can imagine you're doing 4 Loko, a Long Island iced tea, and a beer. And she was going through withdrawal. She was like, I was like, I can't do this. So that's when I ran. I just ran to the bar. I took shots just to start feeling better. And then I just couldn't stop. Police said consuming the booze made her feel good, and that she met random people and even made out with an old man. Well, you want to know something? That's why I don't drink like that anymore, because, child, I used to drink like Snooki. And Lord, whenever I used to drink like that, I've been kicked out of many a bar when I've done that. When I get blacked out, like I would just throw them back. And I'd be doing all kinds of crazy shit. Like I'm sure I made out with old men, somebody's husband, I'm not mad at her over this, but I get it. It's like when you do crazy shit like that, it's like, okay, we got to reel it in. So she needs to detox. So we need to throw her ass in jail, just so that way she can sober the hell on up. And plus, on top of that, it makes for good TV. Because you're supposed to be at work. You back here having gone through alcoholic withdrawals, and now you got to constantly get fucked up so that way you can feel better. So she said it was a nightmare, but I had a great time. She then decided to go to the beach and famously shouted, "Where's the beach?" before being apprehended. So she said, I knew the beach was right there, but my drink cell was like, how do I get on the beach? There's only a certain amount of entries to get on the beach. I couldn't find them anywhere. So I was like, where's the beach? How do I get to the beach? And the guy's like, right there. And I'm like, I know, moron. How do I get on the beach? At the time, Polizzi infamously claimed she was too pretty to be in jail. Rialsa, has 3 kids with her husband, Gianni. She's still with Gianni? His little meatball self. And she said she also downplayed her arrest, saying at the time I had a couple cocktails and they just put me in a drunk tank to sober up. I was on the beach. It happens to the best of us. I'm not planning on going back to jail ever again. And I said that. I said the reason why and I didn't even have to read the article, but it was like, the rest of the articles know that they did that to put her ass in a drunk tank. So she was out of control. She was drinking way too much. And the producers was like, you know what? Just arrest her ass because she's being a nuisance. You think, from the little bit we got from the show that she was a nuisance. I can imagine how she was, with the footage that they had filmed, that they had edited down to what we got to see. So it was like, okay, we need to sober her ass up. And that was her situation where she learned her lesson. And so kudos to her for that. Hold on, because I got sidetracked. It was like people are calling for there's two. Hold on, let me wrap this up. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I remember that I used to watch Jersey Shore back in the day. That was like my show. I even told y'all once upon a time they tried to come out with an LGBT version of Jersey Shore that I went all the way to Atlantic City to audition for, made it on the show. We were filming the pilot and everything. It just didn't get picked up. But Jersey Shore was a huge phenomenon back in the 2010s. That was like when Rihanna's Loud album came out. I remember, because I was listening to that record as we was driving down there for me to go to this audition. So Jersey Shore definitely is a moment in time. It's a part of the, pop culture situation. And I remember that episode like it was yesterday. I don't particularly I don't watch Jersey Shore Family Vacation. I know this is like MTV. Y'all just still trying to hold on to something and keeping the show going when it's like, okay, y'all beating a dead horse at this point. Like them housewives, y'all need to cancel this shit. But apparently there's some of y'all out there that's watching it. It's probably a good, coin or whatever that MTV's making from it. But I was like, yeah, she learned her lesson. I'm glad that she moved on, but it's just unfortunate to hear that, it was a stage situation. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I don't know, from the article I was reading, it was like 2 things. They said, so the MTA police are waiting in front of local bus stops to give people tickets for not paying and going through the back of the buses. So they really trying to crack down on this thing because they were talking about how, the MTA is losing a lot of money because people don't be paying for bus fares in New York. And then I saw another article where they was talking about there's an article calling for Ryan Murphy to retire American Horror Story. Well, quiet as it's kept, they need to. Because that show is I don't even watch American Horror Story anymore. It's trash. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about Ice-T, who is cussing out people on social media, and rightfully so, because people trying to say SVU went woke. So Ice-T shut down a recent accusation that Law & Order SVU has strayed too far from its origins and started to go woke. Now, when I was reading this article, I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Number one, the show is not going woke. So I don't even know what the hell y'all mean about that. Because like they've always ripped things from the headlines and talked about things that reflect what's going on in our country. But let's read on. So the rapper and actor who's 66, whose daughter Chanel hilariously crashed the set of the show, responded to a social media user who commented on an image he had taken while filming the upcoming 26th season. The person wrote, "Did they write SVU back to normal yet? It's starting to go woke." This is what a fan wrote, to which Ice-T replied with, "What the F is woke? LOL, like I give a fuck." The short exchange soon went viral and currently has 5.6 million views. I think I also even commented on that when I saw it over on the Twitter. He later reposted on an article that reported on the interaction with Ice-T, and Ice-T wrote, "Oh ish, effed around and went viral, LOL, hashtag FLTG." The star has notably portrayed the role of Detective Odafin Tutuola on Law & Order SVU since the year 2000. So I'm like, 26 years? I think he's been on the show since the beginning. I think he made like a cameo, like I think he came on towards the end of the first season, and he's been on there ever since. So him and Barishka, they've been on the show since forever. And I do like him on there. Y'all need to bring Kelly Geddish back, because Rollins was my girl. But anyway. He said, "To be on this show this long is like having gone to Harvard in grad school and getting my PhD because every day I'm acting," he said to the outlet. Ice-T also expressed that due to being in front of the camera for so long, he has the confidence to work alongside any actor and A-list celebrity. Well, everybody and their mama pretty much has gone through Law & Order. Like some of the biggest stars that on the planet have graced the presence of Law & Order. Viola Davis has been on the show. Bradley Cooper has been on the show. So many A-list celebrities have gone. I think Jennifer Lawrence has been on there. So many big stars. Excuse me. I think Timothée Chalamet has been on there. Every A-lister you could think of. It's like there's two things you do if you're a New York City actor. You do the soap operas and you do Law & Order. That's your rite of passage if you want to make it as an actor in New York. Even what's his name? Anthony Ramos did an episode of Law & Order. But I tell you, everybody's been through there. He said, "I know whatever I bring, I can bring right back at them." Working with F. Murray Abraham, he told me to learn from the actors I work with, and that's the best training. That's where I'm going to get my stuff. So now I've worked with everybody from Jerry Lewis to Bradley Cooper. Didn't I tell you he was on the show? I remember that episode. He said they all come through the doors of SVU, and I learned something from every one of them. And that's the best, in my opinion, way to learn how to act. It's like, yeah, you can take your acting classes and stuff, but when you are acting alongside people, you pick their brain, you learn their techniques, and it makes you a better performer. And I have to agree. In the beginning, Ice-T was not a good actor. But over the years, over the decades, we should say, he has improved wholeheartedly. So I'm confused as to, like, what are y'all talking about with the whole woke thing? Like, I'm confused. And so he said, "I'm not a cop. I'm the furthest thing from a cop. People have said that our television shows are police propaganda, making the police look good. I understand that argument." And there have been situations where, yeah, they do kind of toe that line where it always seems like that when I have watched SVU, not only SVU, but there's other shows too. Chicago PD, I feel like does the same thing at times, and Blue Bloods. You know, I love my cop procedural shows. That is my guilty pleasure. But I do feel like a lot of times they do toe that line, and it does feel like in certain situations that they do come across where it is police propaganda. He said, "The cop I am on our show is an SVU detective. When I got the job at SVU, Dick Wolf said to me, 'Ice, you don't like cops, right?' I told him that during my criminal past, I didn't hate cops. They were my opponents. He asked, 'But you admit we need them, right?' I said, 'Yeah.' So Wolf told me to play the cop that we need. And if I play the cop that we need, I won't have any problems with it." And while speaking to people earlier this year in January, the Colors rapper further gushed about being part of the series, saying, I think SVU was a special show because it's the first time I've ever done something where people walk up to the street and say thank you. And I found out that SVU is as much entertainment as it is therapy for a lot of women, because a lot of women that watch the show are survivors, guys too. So it has a different feeling versus just normal entertainment. And I was going to say, you know what? I don't know what it is, but I love me some SVU too. I think it's because of, I don't like people being abused and harmed or whatever. So I get in this situation. Well, I was like, why is it not? Oh, because I had to move it along. So I think it's like I'm rooting for the criminals to get locked up. So that's why I be feeling for it. But yeah, that whole thing with the whole where you're trying to sit up in here and say that the show has gone woke. And when people say that, I need y'all to explain to me, what the hell does that even mean? What does it mean when y'all say the show's gone woke? I need examples. So I feel like a lot of times, especially white people and males, a lot of y'all use that word as a slur to go against, oh, well, you're coming across, I don't know, it's like you're coming across preachy, or you're coming across as something like, oh, we're trying to pander to a specific demographic. Like, I'm confused as to what y'all mean when it comes to woke, because woke has always meant, the actual term is for Black people, people of color, people who are ostracized, marginalized, whatever you want to call it, who have to be vigilant of things that were going on in areas like Tennessee, the Rust Belt, those sort of things, where it came to like, be vigilant, be aware, stay woke, in regards of white people causing criminal activity towards people of color or people who are from marginalized communities. That is usually what woke means. But it seems like a lot of these Trump supporters, a lot of you bigots, a lot of you who hate women for some godforsaken reason, want to come in and call things woke. Like, for example, whenever they put a female lead in a film that's action movies, or whatever the case is, like recently they talking about this Badlands movie with and they have a female at the center. Oh, y'all going wow. Anything that shows women in a strong situation, it's woke. I'm like, huh? Have y'all never watched movies back in the day? If you watch a slasher film, if you watch action movies like Aliens with Sigourney Weaver, if the internet existed back in the day, we probably wouldn't even have Sigourney Weaver in fucking Aliens, because of y'all trying to be woke. We embrace shit like that. We embrace when we saw women in strong roles. Whenever you watch a horror movie, it's always a final girl. So y'all up in here trying to act like y'all trying to erase history, or y'all got a problem with the fact of seeing strong women in big situations. That's what woke is. I hate the fact that we've had people who have taken something like that and they've just bastardized the word and turn it into something that it doesn't mean. At this point, whenever people use that woke term, I just sit and roll my damn eyes. I'm like, okay, whatever, child. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Onyx says American Horror Story has been in the gutter for a while now. No new thank God. And I think that's probably why they're putting that grotesquerie show out, because we definitely need a break from American Horror Story. After the disaster that was that shit with Kim Kardashian, I was like, no, we need a break. Maybe they quietly canceled American Horror Story. They just haven't told us yet. So there's like the ideas aren't there anymore. So let's kind of put American Horror Story on the back burner and let's start on this grotesquerie show, because it's an interesting idea. I just hope that this grotesquerie show is actually pretty good, because I like Niecy Nash. I'm definitely curious to see how Travis Kelce is going to come across as an actor. And this is not some stunt casting. First of all, American Horror, Brian Murphy's got a lot of really good shows coming out. I'm definitely curious to see next month when they drop that Menendez brothers story, and also the Aaron Hernandez story that they have coming out, because, with him in the American Sports Story, I think is what they call it. And Aaron Hernandez, allegedly he was homosexual, and he was in the football and trying to play up the whole male misogynist thing, because people were questioning his sexuality. So he was trying to play that up to throw people off the scent that he was into dudes. So they got a lot of really good stuff out. Now, the execution, we already know, like, Ryan Murphy's big on ideas but poor on execution. So I'm actually hoping these shows don't suck. So I'm I am curious to see the show only because, yeah, like I said, Niecy Nash is a part of it. And 1984 was the last good season, but even that was 1984. Was that the one when they went to the camp and Angelica Ross was in it? That was such a rip over Friday the 13th. And they threw Richard Ramirez up in there. I hate when they bring real life serial killers into fantasy ideas. I hate when he does that. Like, especially the thing what he did with the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, which pissed a lot of people off with his take on that story. I heard they're doing one on John Wayne Gacy too. Not Ryan Murphy, but they are doing a John Wayne Gacy movie. I think I saw that story in Variety or Deadline or something the other day. But also, I feel like a lot of people say the last good season of American Horror Story was Coven. That's what most people would say. I enjoy Coven. But yeah, 1984, I do agree with you. There were parts of that was really good. I might want to revisit that in October. But yeah, it was cringe at times. But one of the things I'm really interested in watching is this new VHS movie that's coming out on Shudder next month. I think it's next month. Where they have, like, I think the overall theme is alien abduction or alien invasions or whatever. From the trailer I saw, it looks pretty good. But I actually like the VHS franchise with that Shudder puts out. But anyway, let's move on. How many more topics we got? We done with today's show. We got 3 more topics. So before we get to them 3 topics, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button if you haven't already, and smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And without further ado, let's get into our next topic, because apparently Lemon and Alexis Mateo are going at it on social media. Now, I saw this happening in real time, unfolding in real time last night, and I was cackling. I even left a comment under Alexis. Now, here's the thing. I like Lemon and I like Alexis, but Lemon thought she was getting besides herself, and Alexis had to correct her because she tried to be a little ageist in the situation while doing an interview with Ricky Cornish. Now, I do have the clip of what she has said to Ricky, and we're going to get into that in a second. But for context, I want to get y'all up to date with what happened. Now, Canada Drag Race, Canada versus the World, just wrapped up its 2nd season and crowned Le Mans as the winner, with RuPaul's Drag Race veteran Alexis Mateo coming in 2nd place. Although Mateo initially showed love towards Le Mans during the finale, things took a turn once Mateo threw some shade at the winner and production online. Now, let's break down the chaos, what was going down on the Twitter. Shout out to Pride for putting all this together, because I ain't got time. So, Alexis did make a comment about the finale. She posted the following, and I do have the picture up, what she said. She said, I want to congratulate my baby sister, that bitch Lemon. You're gonna be an amazing queen, and I will be here to support you in anything you need. Out of the show, we are sisters, and you deserve nothing more than happiness. Felicidades. So that's what she said. And she said, followed it up by saying, even though I was in the bottom many times unfairly and not even showed in the last lip sync, it was a great season and Lemon was amazing. And this goes and proves Silky Nutmeg Ganache's point, what she was saying. She was not saying Lemon didn't deserve the win. What she was saying was production was being messy in regards of how they edited that performance, where y'all made it obvious that y'all were going to give it to Lemon. Because quiet as it's kept, Canada Drag Race, Canada versus the World, whatever iteration of the series y'all want to put it as. Well, I guess Canada, because it's just going to be Canadian Queens. But when we talk about Canada versus the World, y'all was not going to have an American win 2 seasons in a row. We know y'all was not going to do that. Because no shade, even though, I live for Lemon and Lemon's a fierce performer and I like her, she was not better at her performances over Alexis or even Kennedy Davenport. And I said what the fuck I said. We could agree to disagree. You could feel how you want to feel. But for me personally, I do not think that she outshined Alexis, and I don't think she outshined Kennedy. And I feel like if you watch both their performances, yeah, Kennedy got a little leg up in regards of like how they edited their lip sync against each other. But for the Alexis one, they was a little, I feel like while they got towards the end of the show, the people over there editing the show probably got lazy, got tired, and was like, fuck it, I just don't care. Just pick this shot, pick this shot, pick this shot. And they stitched the shit together. It just felt a little sloppy the way they put that together. And so, like I said, this points out what Alexa was saying, was like the way that they didn't show her in the last lip sync. Silky was correct in what she said, but because it's Silky, not Megan Ganache, people wanted to go in and throw shade at her because of how y'all felt about her during her season with Evie Oddly. Because like these days, people don't allow you to evolve and grow. They just stick to the same, talking points or hold on to things. So Lemon also responded to Mateo in a viral clip where Lemon was asked about Mateo's remarks on social media. And she threw some shade right back at her. And we have that clip where she was being interviewed by Ricky Cornish. Hold on. So let's transfer over to that so y'all can see that clip in case you haven't seen it.
I love that Alexis gave you your flowers after the end, but typical Alexis fashion for her to follow it up with, even though they didn't show me in the lip sync and I shouldn't have been in the bottom, congrats.
Well, if I was 45 and still losing Drag Race, I'd have a lot to say too.
I love that Alexis gave you your flowers after the end, but
hold on. Okay, so we got that down. And now, there is an extended video at the top of the page, which I should have played for y'all. They said the winner also clarified that the lip sync wasn't one-sided at all. She said someone did a count and she was only showed 8 seconds less than me. If she thinks the 8 seconds could have gotten her the win, then wow, that's a fast orgasm. I was like, who's the someone? Because we all watched what we was watching, and I don't care how many seconds y'all was counting in regards in between the clips or whatever. The way it was shot, it looked sloppy. And even Alexis proved it. So let's pull it up. Where she was like, some of my favorite shots of me in the final lip sync of Canada versus the world. So look, you see Alexis there? That looks a mess. That was probably when the camera was swerving. You got a shot of Lemon here. Look how all the way over there Alexis is. Then you have another cut of a full shot of Lemon here. And look at Alexis's face cut off, and that is an actual shot. It's not like, oh, she just cropped it at a specific time. That was literally the shot that they used before they went to another shot. And there's another one. So y'all trying to tell us that these producers wasn't trying to be messy in the way they filmed that lip sync. Not trying to take away from Lemon's win, but we see how messy and how intentional the producers was when it came to it. And it's funny how we got these queens fighting and nobody putting that energy in the production, which is a complaint that many of the Drag Race girls have said about many of the seasons, not just Canada, but America too. American producers, y'all be just as messy. I really hope that with this stripper show that Willem has coming out, that she ain't gonna be as messy as RuPaul producers and them over there are with they damn show. So, Mateo did respond by saying, she right, but I'm blessed at 45. So it's like, girl, you out here trying to read people on their age. And I said, you better hope you make it to 45. Now I said that this was just another classic moment, the two queens teasing each other, but things suddenly changed when Mateo started popping off on Twitter. Said, I'm 45 and I still have a career in drag, not just hashtag drag race. And I'm part of the success of the show. Let's not get sassy because we know why you won at that bitch Lemon. See you this weekend in Vegas. And they said in true drag queen fashion, she also plugged the upcoming appearance with Lemon at Piranha nightclub. So I don't know if it happened already, but it probably did. And then Lemon responded by saying, I've never said you were less than amazing, and I've never tried to discredit your success. This was a little joke from a long interview where I said many times how amazing you were. And then Alexis responded by saying, I know it was a joke because I know you smart, but don't get too comfortable making jokes because the joke will be when I start making my jokes with receipts. Now the NDA is over. And then says something in Spanish. And then Miss Fierce Alicious goes on to say, play this clip with Trinity said, girl, I'm, it's like, I don't know what she's saying, but girl, I'm living. Wait, why is Madonna trending? I need to, wait, this ain't got nothing to do with the show. But let me close that out because then I'm going to get sidetracked. Because I'm like, wait a minute, why is Madonna trending on social media? But let's finish wrapping this up. So, they were going back and forth. They were having a little moment. And I'm curious to find out in regards to y'all talking about this NDA. What other tea you got to spill about this show? So I feel this is saying, you know what? At the end of the day, Lemon won. She got her, she definitely was consistent throughout the season. Nobody's taken away from the fact that she's not, that, of her talents and all that other stuff. But at the same time, we have to be frank as to like, okay, even though Lemon won, as they would say, fair and square, the way that production edited that final lip sync and the way they was going about it was messy. So that's what we're pointing out. We're not necessarily trying to point out that, oh, y'all trying to say Lemon didn't win, deserve her win or whatever. It's like, we're talking about production. So let's stick to that and not try to take it into other things. So I say all this to say, even though it was a lot to break down, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now let's move on to our next topic, which fans are revealing the controversial Drag Race opinion they defend against an army of the fandom. So, RuPaul's Drag Race, there was a subreddit which serves as an online Piazza del Popolo for all things RuPaul Drag Race related, recently rehashed the fandom's most controversial opinions. For example, here's one that the person wrote in the article. They said, I think that when RuPaul is close to retiring, her successor should be chosen through a Willy Wonka-esque all-star season. You want to know something? That might not be a bad idea. Why don't they do like, okay, I'm retiring, so now I'm looking for a successor. And you know what? It'd be funny if they did all of that and it turns out that it's Michelle Visage. They would do something that shady like they have Michelle Visage doing the other season. So anyway, let's pull that up. It's like for context, this picture. So it says that to move on from this article. So they came up with 10 things that in regards of, what some people will defend against the army of the fandom. Number 10 is not a flip sync, it's a lip sync. Now, I do agree with that. They're saying lip sync is not about jumping, splitting, and reveals. It's about lip syncing to the song with your lips and face. This is what a Reddit user, Leonard _ Snow, had to say. I don't care if you won 30 awards for dancing. If the dancing is good, but I can't see it on your face, then sorry, it was pretty bad. Controversy get brave, and in many cases, I think very true. While many lip syncs with flips and tricks leave my mouth agape, Chi Chi DeVayne brings me to tears every time I watch her lip sync against Thorgy Thor, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. There's a time and place for each style, but I love to see more queens really lean into old school dramatic lip syncs more often. And here's another one they need to bring up too. Keegan Michaels versus Latrice Royale. When they performed Natural Woman, you had Latrice up there just holding court, embracing, like feeling herself. She was singing, she was feeling the moment. But then you had Kenya twirling like she was freaking Kenya, the other Kenya Moore. And I'm sitting there like, that's not what this song is. Every performance does not need to be a flip, a jump split, all the crazy theatrics, a dip, because they call it death drop. I hate when y'all call it that. It's not what it is. If you're going to use ballroom moves on the stage, you need to use the proper terminology. And so when you have girls up there doing dips or whatever, that's not what this performance calls for. It's like, I do miss that old school vibe where people get up there and they actually embody the song, emote through the performance. Everything doesn't need to be, an 8 count. Number 9, they said Drag Race is for what? Entertainment. Well, if reading is fundamental, then drag is for entertainment. So Reddit user prestigious Bat33 said Drag Race is a show for entertainment. It's not meant to represent the whole of drag. If you want more variety or less polish, go to a local drag show and support a local queen. Ooh, this one's a doozy, child. And I do agree with this because I feel like a lot of times people do go and watch Drag Race and think that if they go to a nightclub, that you're going to get Drag Race type of performances. You're going to get somebody coming out in a bodysuit with wings attached to it. Or you're going to get like some gown that glows in the dark. And you may get some of that if the girls are willing to put out that kind of coin. But this is not Drag Race and drag and actually the art of drag, two different things. And that's why this actually reminded me of an article, because I was talking to a friend of mine And it's funny how two different people, Jasmine Rice LaBeija, put out something in regards to like the local drag, a local drag queen, very much known in New York. And then another friend of mine who does drag, then they go by Aria, but it's RJ Robinson is his government name. They started talking about some stuff too. So Jasmine Rice LaBeija said the following. She said, just reflecting on how New York City drag scene has changed. When I first started drag in New York City, I used to go out in full drag with Monet as an exchange to see drag shows and parties all the time, just to show face and get acquainted with the big names, queens, managers, and promoters. Would stay at the bar until closing to kiki with the girls and go to a diner after to build a relationship/community. Of course, we did local bar competitions on top of that as well. We would then get an opportunity once in a while from the queens to possibly do a number of tips or to get a booking. I can barely recall the last time a newer queen came to one of my shows in full drag to just show face or even support. Yet they messaged me for a booking or a tip spot. Why would I book you or let you be part of my show when I don't even know you? I'm just supposed to know you because you post or DM me on social media? Am I old and cranky who's just not current? Is it because I'm not having a brat summer? Child, not the brat summer reference. I'm about sick of Charlie XA. I'm a fan of hers, but y'all keep referencing that. It's getting on my damn nerve. But there's no shade to you, Jasmine. But I was speaking to another friend of mine who does drag, and they were saying that it's like, but some of the girls do show up and they support the local queens. They'll go up there, they'll help pick up, they want to be apprenticed because that's the way that a lot of these girls got to come out. Back in the day, that used to be kind of that. They would give you opportunity to do the amateur nights, to put you on a thing so that way you can get the tips as well. And they would help pick up your money and put it, after you got your tips and those other stuff. And they would do the things that need to be done. But a lot of times the girls don't be seeing it for these new kids that's coming up. And it's like nobody's trying to steal away your situation. There's enough bars, trust and believe, in New York that can house enough people. We have like over at least 70 New York bars in New York in the 5 boroughs. Well, I'll say 4. I don't know about Staten Island. But for the most part, there's a lot of those spots. So support the local girls is what I'm trying to say. So my friend basically said this. When me and Angelique were lucky and blessed enough to get a show opportunity at one of the most popular local gay bars here in NYC, one of the first things we wanted to implement was offering a weekly tip spot to other performers. We obviously couldn't afford to offer these performers base pays, but we wanted to be able to share the spotlight and performance opportunities while being able to give back to the community that was helping us flourish. With that being said, is there a reason that more drag shows here in NYC don't offer tip spots to performers? It's often a cast of performers doing shows weekly. Is there a reason that those casts can't have a rotating list of tip spots? It could be as simple as just letting that guests do one number. Imagine the shared opportunity we would all have if every show implemented a mandatory tip spot. Does that make sense? Do I sound stupid? Let me know what you think. And I definitely want to know what y'all think in regards to that too, especially if you're someone who's a lover of drag or you are a local queen or just a queen in general who does drag. Like, I would definitely know that. And I think what a friend of mine was saying was that they think the reason why a lot of these girls don't give the younger up and comers who put in the work, who definitely go to the clubs and support these girls because they want to be apprenticed by them, the opportunities. This is why a lot of times they resort to going on social media and doing their tutorials and being a internet drag girl rather than a club drag girl or a bar drag girl, because these people that are already in these positions are gatekeeping. So there's that. So it is genuinely something I definitely want to hear about. So now, number 8, they said, enough original IP for Snatch Game. I think Reddit user Santos Drag Mother makes a point when they said, no one who invents a character for Snatch Game should win. Even characters who are not well known to RPDR audiences. Plain's character, the Golden Oldies character, are still people they have to impersonate who do have an audience with a fan base. I think it's always a risky move. Some are smart, like Anitra, who pivoted away from Gordon Ramsay and instead played his fictional sister, Georgina Ramsay, upon Rue's suggestion. That's a smart drag queen right there, but there are others doing original characters who are making a much less smart move. Listen, they all can't be Evie Oddly's Boogeyman. Well, yeah, I think it just depends on the situation. It's like, yeah, you need to, if you're going to do Snatch Game, you need to do it based off characters. And then, yeah, if you can't do, if they're going to be like, I don't see you doing Gordon Ramsay. But do Gordon Ramsay's sister, where it's like you could take those Gordon Ramsay isms and apply it to the sister, the imaginary, or because you don't know the sister, and then you could just make stuff up on regards of that. But yeah, Evie Oddly as the boogeyman, that was pretty funny. But it's like, yeah, or like when you had little Edie with Jinx Monsoon, that was a real character that she played. That was funny. Or when she did Judy Garland, that was funny. So it's like, yeah, but if y'all can't come up with some interesting stuff, then maybe they need to stop doing Snatch Game altogether. Number 7, musicals should be performed live and in color. A truly hot take. It said, Camellia Lily said, I don't care if they're terrible at it. I 100% prefer, excuse me, when the queens perform the vocals for musicals. Otherwise, it's not a musical to me if they're just lip syncing. Some live musicals are so hard to watch, I routinely skip over them. Some of them, like Shade the musical from season 6, are worth rewatching on their own because they're packed full of queens who sing for a living, like Courtney Act and Adore Delano. But it's true that some of the pre-recorded musicals could feel a little lifeless. Personally, I think queens singing and recording the track and then lip syncing to their own vocals is the best middle ground. And that's what I was going to say too. I don't like when they sing other people's vocals. I was also thinking when they do the finale and they have the top 4 queens, they have to do their own little performance. I feel like y'all need to stick there. First of all, we have so many tools at our disposal now with people who are horrible vocalists sound like they on pitch and on key. So I don't understand why you don't make them actually write the songs for the finale. And I'm adding this to the thing because I don't even know if it's a part of the list because I ain't go down the list. I'm actually doing this in real time as I'm going through it with you guys. But when it comes down to the lips, when these songs, whatever, if I'm going to have a top 4 and then we're going to split it down or whatever and cut it to a top 2, I feel like you need to get these people in the studio with a producer, Leland, whoever, have them write their own song, perform it, sing it with their actual vocals, and when they get on stage, they can lip sync to their own vocals. I don't like this idea of y'all be hiring other people to sing demos and then they're lip syncing to the song. It's the same thing with the musical. Make all of them, even if they don't have the most spectacular voice, have them pre-record the vocals, and then when it comes down to it, they perform the song to their own vocals live. I feel like that is the better middle ground instead of, oh, you got these other people. I'm like, whose voice is that? So I do agree. It does take the life out of the thing. Number 6, they said impersonation is a critically endangered art. User EdgeMeX_Elmo said, all Snatch games are getting worse because today's queens don't need impersonation skills, let alone have improv skills, unless they're the host. You don't have to be a professional impersonator like Chad Michaels to have a singular good one ready for the Snatch game. To me, to determine a good Snatch game impression, I usually ask myself one question. Is this the impression this queen does at a bar with her friends? To me, if it has that vibe, usually slays. Exhibit A is Adore Delano. I can't congratulate Adore enough on her 9 months of sobriety, but I know when she was a 365 party girl, she'd get 3 drinks in, turn to her friends, and let out an unclockably perfect Anna Nicole Smith. I also think Plain Jane's Helena I forget, I don't know how to say her last name, falls into the category. It was like, yeah, if you're good at impersonating people, that should be the requirement. I feel like they need to follow their own damn rules with Drag Race when it comes to these shows. I feel like they've gotten lenient over the years, and when y'all have gotten lenient with certain situations, y'all don't be following up on y'all rules and having them confined within that. There's going to be people who are terrible at Snatch Game. If that's the case, they just will have to lip sync for their life and try not to get eliminated. But that makes the show more interesting. Number 5, let's get all stars on a predictable schedule. Now, this I agree with. Reddit user Braun Steiner _SB keeps it short and sweet, saying all stars should be every 2 years. Now, haven't we said this shit? We've been saying this for the longest. We need to have all stars every 2 years, and maybe what y'all need to do, make yearly global all stars. Although I will say this, and I know the new episode came out today. Global All-Stars, you're not giving me what needs to be given in regards to this show. Y'all need to do better. I'm kind of getting bored. But I do agree with All-Stars needs to be every year. I mean, every 2 years. Global All-Stars, y'all can still play around with that. Do it every year with that. or come up with other ideas to make it entertaining. But yeah, All Stars, y'all wearing out. You're over wearing out your welcome. But a lot of the fans have been saying that. They said, hear me out. Let's really turn this into the Olympics of drag. We do All-Stars every 2 years, but alternate between a summer All-Stars and a winter All-Stars. If there's one thing I love in a season of Drag Race, it's a hyper-specific gimmick, and I think it's about time to get seasonal in the workroom. I actually like that idea. I do think that they should just do a summer All-Stars and a winter All-Stars, where it's just sort of like y'all can come up with some creative ideas around it. But I feel maybe these producers are just bored. Number 4, they said no accounting for taste. One user, Dazzler fan, is brave enough to say what we've all thought at one point or another. All drag is valid, but it's not all good. Sure, taste and aesthetics differ, but sometimes it's just not good. And I agree with that. But y'all be talking about all drag is valid. I'm like, is it? Because not all drag is good. And some of y'all be looking a hot ass mess. So, okay, we good, but I mean, it could be valid, but it's a mess. We're going to have to criticize it. Number 3, they said not everyone should be in the running for Miss Congeniality, and that's good. Agreed. Because one person I still say shouldn't have got Miss Congeniality during her season was Valentina. And we all remember that, all the drama that surrounded with her. And I like Valentina now. But back when she was on that show and how nasty her fans was being towards a lot of people who called out on things between Aja and Alexis Mateo and who else? It was a bunch of the other girls that was on Shea Coulee, Nina Bonina Brown. There was a lot of people that was getting dragged on social media because of Valentina nasty ass fans at the time. I don't know if they've calmed down since then, because I don't be paying attention like that. But back when that show, when her season was on, and I know they were, the Latino community, or maybe it was the Mexican community, I don't know. But they never seen nobody like a Valentino on their show. I could see why they was acting the way they was acting, but it was unprofessional. So they said, so High_Nabby said, drag queens don't have to be nice or politically correct. Let them be rotted and flawed. Put down the pitchforks and the torches. For a fandom that loves the aesthetics of Divine, but might not appreciate her if we were to be a contemporary queen, I think this is an astute observation. I also think let them be rotted is an excellent way to make this argument. I do love the term let them be rotted. But yeah, it's just like, let them be rotted and flawed. That's what we love about our queens. I don't want them to be perfect. One of the things I hate about Drag Race is the fact that they sit up in here and they try to self-produce. Y'all don't sit up here and be your authentic selves. You're up here worrying about, oh, what's the fandom going to think? Oh, I don't want to get dragged on social media. And I get it. Not everybody is built to deal with being bullied online and stuff. But if they're in this pressure cooker that is the Olympics of drag, or just RuPaul's Drag Race, and you're on set 14 to 16 hours a day, you don't have access to a phone, you're just having to film this show with each other for about a month and some change, you viewers at home have to allow these queens to go through what they're going through on the show and not be up in here going on social media with y'all bullshit, because you're not in the room with them. So let the show be the show. The number 2 I agree with. They said more design challenges. User Irish Lad wants to put these queens to work. They said there should be more design challenges per season to really separate the capable creatives from the wild openers. ETA minute 3 per season, 1 near the start, 1 midway, and 1 near in the end. I don't know why we got to do 3. Or it said minimum. I think they said 3. Why got to be 3? I actually like when they do the design challenges. And so I know sewing is hard, and I have bias given that my mom was a customer and seamstress by trade. This is what the person said in the article. But this one I get. RuPaul's Drag Race has now had how many seasons and spinoffs? And here's the thing, what I don't get. We are going into season 17, correct, in 2025? If I hear one more of you bitches go up on there and tell me, I don't know how to sew. How? How do you not know how to sew? You know that's a requirement when you do this show. I understand y'all be sitting out here complaining about, well, I had to spend $25,000 to get a bunch of damn outfits so I could do the runway. But it's like, but you do know all that money you spending for some designer to make some clothes for you. Y'all should, if you going on Drag Race, y'all should be actually taking the time to learn how to use a goddamn sewing machine. At this point, there's no excuse. We already know the show was built. The very first, in the beginning of Drag Race, how this show came about, supposed to be a cross between Project Runway and America's Next Top Model. Now, if y'all know that Snatch Game is coming, if you know that the reading is fundamental, the reading challenge is supposed to be coming, if you know that, when I was thinking about this, do they still, see, that's why I got to watch season 16 again, because I don't remember. The puppet segment, because everybody loves puppets. I do love the puppet segment, where they be sitting there just dragging up the puppet, and they read each other based off the puppet. RuPaul's Drag Race has their staples within the show. If y'all are just as prepared to know that Snatch Game is coming, all these other little challenges that we do throughout the season, y'all definitely know that y'all got to learn how to use a goddamn sewing machine. There's no excuse at this point. So I do believe that we need more design challenges. I love the design challenges. Now, number one, we finally got to the light at the end of the tunnel. It said this is not RuPaul's best lip syncer race. So electrical-tie-5158 hits us with the hard truth you may not be ready to hear. Lip syncs are the queen's last chance to impress Ru and save themselves from elimination. She never said whoever performs better will get to stay. Ru does say it every episode, but it still doesn't make it any easier to accept, especially in cases like Marsha 3 times and Anitra's iconic lip sync, which should have been a double Shantae. Well, a lot of fans be saying that in a lot of the situations. So I agree with that. But, and I say all this to y'all, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all agree with this list? It was a long one, but you know, nevertheless, I'm definitely curious if, as a Drag Race fan, what are your thoughts on this particular story? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, now speaking of comments, let's get to a couple of them. I read Cleveland's comment, shady. Okay, Onyx says that Willy Wonka All-Star season actually had me excited for Ru to retire. It said, I just came back and thought you were talking about Hannah for lip syncing to record it. Look, did somebody make that joke the other day? I forget what somebody was. I know it was. It was Lady Bunny when I went to see her perform at Fat Slut, which is Meatball's party. And if you could see it on my TikTok, I posted a whole video and stuff up there. But Lady Bunny makes a joke about who better to be a judge on Drag Race than J-Lo, because you know the lip syncing joke. So, what's your least favorite kind of drag? Personally, I hate Marsha drag, where it's just female impersonation. My least favorite type of drag is people who don't put no effort in their aesthetic. If you want to be a drag queen, when you give an illusion, but you give like hairy chest, like Meatball does, I'm here for that, because like you're giving drag, but you're giving you got the hairy chest, whatever the case was. I get it. If you do bearded drag, I'm here for that. But when you get up there and y'all do that lazy shit, like what's her name? The one that won the last season of Canada's Drag Race. When you don't tuck your dick, when you don't put on titties, when you're giving me flat as a board, when you're not giving me any kind of female illusion, I think it's sloppy. I think it's messy. And someone who grew up around a lot of drag queens and have been to many a club, but long before there was a drag race, I just don't get that type of aesthetic. I just don't like sloppy drag. I don't like messy drag. I don't like cheap queens. I don't like messy queens. Shout out to Gia Gunn. So I blame the casting department. Drag Race should feature the best of the very best queens. But unfortunately, they care more about TV drama and the fact that they want to make it easy to eliminate the girls. That's what I'm really looking forward to Willem's show, because it's like when you're going to have strippers and stuff on there, I'm definitely saying how she's going to work that out. Hopefully it'll be better than Go for the gold. But they said, and when was the last time people got excited and happy over a Drag Race winner? It's so predictable who's going to win. And jury winning also is kind of detoured from that. But still, no, I agree with you on that. And so I feel like, yeah, it's been a while since I've gotten excited. I mean, look, we was expecting, like last season, we was expecting Saphira to win, but then y'all gave it to Nymphia. And people were like, huh? I mean, don't get me wrong. Nymphia is a fierce queen. But at the same time, I'm like, I think it's kind of the same way where it came with Lemon. It's like, how many times am I gonna keep doing my girl Kennedy and my girl Alexis dirty? And like I said in the comments, I was like, they don't want 2 years in a row an American queen to win a Canada's versus the world type of challenge. And it's like, it ain't our fault that we breed some of the best queens in the United States of America. It's not our fault. You know, we hold bitches to a certain standard when it comes to drag in America. And the best of the best comes out of here. Girl, they haven't done the puppets. Oh, they haven't? That's probably because you want to know something. That was the last season I think I watched. Actually, the season with when Eureka first went home, so I think it was season 9 was the last time they did. They need to bring that back. The puppets thing, because everybody loves puppets. See, I just started rewatching the season. I just finished the season that Sasha Velour won last night, so now I'm about to go into the following season, which is with Monique Hart and all of them. Well, she's Mo Hart now, but on the show. And then when they brought the Elephant Queen back for another season, because you know she couldn't be on the last one because of the injury. But anyway, let's get into our final topic, which is Raheem Shabazz sharing his hot tip for aspiring adult entertainers. So Raheem Shabazz has quite a successful year in the world of adult entertainment. You know, earlier this year, he took home the award for Performer of the Year at the 2024 Gay Vienna Awards. And, you know, that's considered the highest honor from porn's biggest night. He's also someone who is very successful. You know, he has his harem of men out in Brazil. Shout out to all of those fine pieces of ass that he be getting up in his little situation. And, you know, he started his career in adult cinematography 4 years ago, and he's been thriving. You know, people live for him. He is the first porn star to reach 1 million followers on Twitter twice, because I remember the first time that he was a part of the whole situation, they pretty much deleted his account or something. They flagged his account, which was fucked up. And I believe Diego Barros is another one who's reached 1 million followers on the Twitter. And Raheem is talking about retiring soon, but look, at the same time, but I'm sure he's going to keep his business going and still make his money from the company that he has built with all those different models that he's probably going to have funneling through his, you know, his site of, you know, putting out adult content. Shout out to Nico Aesthetics, my friend who does some stuff with Raheem every now and again. But also, Raheem, you know, I told him he has a new gig. He's going to be a judge on Willem's new stripper reality show called Darkroom Duel, which I have to say, you know what? That is the most clever name to call a show. Because it's kind of giving, I don't know, whenever I hear Darkroom Duel, it's like, okay, Darkroom, you know what that is for the gays. But also a duel, I'm thinking the challenge. So I'm like, oh, y'all gonna be having them doing, when they said dragons in a contact sport, but it's stripping. There's only one way to find out. So they said, well, when he talked to Pride, because I'm getting this story from them, he said, please don't make me blush. I had to be the first. It's like when Serena went for that Grand Slam. It's a goal. Now, anyhow, you know, as certainly is a goal for Shabazz, the star is one of the most popular models in the adult cinematography industry today. So he naturally has some tips to share with anyone hoping to make it in the industry. He said, be sure once you jump in, you're in. Once your content is out there, it's permanently out there. Be sure you want to do it. You know, and I say that, you know what? That is so true that what people have to realize. And I think a lot of y'all don't think about it. If you're going to jump in, you got to jump all the way in. You got to be sure. I remember I was watching this thing with, oh my God, what's his name? Timothy Champagne, where he was talking about that and trying to give people advice on if you're going to come in and do this adult cinematography, you need to be sure that this is something that you want to do. And me, I should have brought this shit up from the beginning. I don't know why I didn't bring this video up so that way y'all could have watched it. I am stalling as I'm trying to find this clip. I should have been more prepared with this. But yeah, I didn't bring it up at the time. Let me mute that. Because I was like, okay, so he also said, I don't think we have years. I would say months. Let the young kids take over this. Let the new guys do it. I've had my fun. Now I can watch everyone else succeed. Because he's talking about retiring. And I have to say, like, yeah, what people have to realize is that when you do adult cinematography, you're not going to be able to last forever doing this, doing adult cinematography. And so I'm with him on this. It's like at a certain point, You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run, chair. So, wait, hold on, because I had to pause it. Because I was like, shout out to my friend, speaking of which, Nico Aesthetic, because I actually was on his YouTube channel because he had the clip that he had put together. And I want to play that for y'all because I want to bring in the whole Timothy Champagne situation, because Timothy gave the same advice in regards of if y'all want to jump into the adult cinematography industry, the things, the do's and the don'ts that you have to do if this is something that you're going to be serious about. And I have to say, like, yeah, even though Raheem doesn't have experience as a stripper, the one thing he does have, he understands the world of adult cinematography and how you can, how if there's photo shoots or any kind of challenge, he can provide like the do's and the don'ts of what you need to do to elevate yourself in certain situations. And also when it comes down to any other stuff, he can provide you with some good advice. So I'm not mad at him over them adding him because well, what do you know about stripping? You ain't necessarily got to know about stripping to be a stripper. It's like anybody can get up on a stage, I guess, for the most part, and just seductively take your clothes off. Not everybody's going to be good at it, but anybody can get up there and try it out, especially if they have amateur nights and stuff, which they do have. Because I remember when I would do a lot of the bar and club scenes and stuff, I knew plenty of drag queens that would have like amateur nights or whatever when it came to the stripping. So let's get to this Timothy Champagne clip that I want y'all to see. Where he was talking about this whole, you know, the do's and the don'ts. And then also I brought this up because, you know, there's some story coming out about him that he was talking about that, he not bisexual, he gay for pay. But he recently, and I had the clip of him on his Instagram where he basically had to tell people, was like, yeah, at the time I was identifying as straight, but you have to realize people evolve over the years and they can go from I'm straight to I am bisexual or I'm pansexual. People, sexuality and all that stuff evolves. So anyway, let me get to the clip so y'all can watch it and then we'll come and talk.
Here's why you should not get into the industry. First off, this job is not as easy as you think it is. It's as hard as any other career. You might as well just go with a regular career if you're considering this. This isn't a cop-out. This isn't something you can just do. If you want to just do this on the side, you better have a real job to hold you down and maybe just do porn to have a little bit of extra spending money on the weekends. Because I'm telling you, if you try to turn this into your full-time job, it will take over your entire life, just like any other career. People lack respect for what I do for a living. You're not going to be able to tell everybody what you do for a living. I put so much work into this job, an unbelievable amount. I've made so many sacrifices for this job, an unbelievable amount. I've done things I'm not comfortable with for this job, and people still don't respect what I do for a living because they just see it at the surface level as being lazy and a cop-out. The fact of the matter is, I'm not going to make $1.2 million this year by being lazy. That's not how that works. In fact, I know a lot of men who are as attractive as me who aren't going to break making $50,000 in a year, and I will make $1.2 million. That's not because I'm lazy. That's because I'm a hard worker. And people will look down on you for doing this career, which is insane to me. Another reason you shouldn't get into this industry is because you're probably not already popular on social media. Don't do this shit if you're not already popular on social media. If you're thinking about doing this as a job, as a career, start posting on Instagram, start building an audience. That's what you need to do. It's boring as fuck, but you have to do it. And don't expect to make thousands of dollars immediately, especially not now when there is a tremendous amount of competition. I've been doing this job for 6 years, and my income still fluctuates tens of thousands of dollars every single month. What's going to happen when you make $5,000 one month, and then all of a sudden the next month you only make $1,000? But you've already quit your main job because you thought you had a future in this. That's what happens to new creators more than often. Another reason you might not want to get into this industry is because you're going to have to do things you're not comfortable with, okay? That's how that works. That is if you want to make the real money, which you probably do. And by that, I mean, I have to take it in my pretty frequently, even though I don't really get any pleasure from that. It's called acting. You better be a good actor if you want to make the real money. If you just want to skirt by and maybe just have a little bit of extra spending money on the weekends, you can do that. But just know that once your content is out there, it's out there forever, and everybody will be able to see your naked body. So I hope that's something you're comfortable with. However, you probably won't have to do anything that'll make you too uncomfortable if you just want a little bit of extra spending money for the weekends. So that works too. I just do get scared for people that, you know, maybe they want a different job someday and their boss finds their new on the internet and doesn't accept them for that reason. I've been in this industry for 6 years. And when I started, I already had 25,000 followers on Instagram. This was 6 years ago. That was a decent bit. I started posting on Instagram when I was 16 years old. I was consistent with it through when I was 18. When I was 18, I tried to do professional porn. That didn't really pay enough. There wasn't enough potential for growth for me in that industry. So I just started to work on my OnlyFans page, and I've been consistent with that ever since then for the most part. Another thing that's tough about this job is breaks are incredibly punishing. You can't really take breaks. So I have 10,500 fans right now paying $10 every single month. If I were to take a break for about a week, I would probably lose 15 to 20% of my income. So good luck getting sick. Some people mitigate this by having posts scheduled. I don't do that because I like making sure all my content is current. That might be stupid, but that's the way I like to run my business because it keeps me on the edge, it keeps me working hard, and it keeps me motivated. And I've noticed if you're posting old content you're not super confident in, it never performs as well as the stuff you are going to be confident in. And I frankly am a hardcore perfectionist, and I have OCD about everything I put out. That does help me in my career in many ways, but it also damages me in many ways too. Like I said, if I were to get sick, I'd be fucked. Now, if you're still watching and you're like, hey, I think that I meet all the prerequisites, you know, I'm already kind of popular on social media, I already have a decently large fan base, go for it. All I got to really say at that point is practice. Practice.
Okay, so you pretty much got the whole thing. He was just saying, like, if you want to be a model and you want to get into porn and stuff, it's like, yeah, practice and all the other stuff. So that way you get good at what you do. But nobody said, I think the reason why I also wanted to bring this up is because a lot of people said, like, oh, because he's white and all this other stuff. And yeah, he has those advantages because he white privilege. He's tall, he's skinny, he's muscular, and he has those next door, what is it? Those boyish good looks, those next door type of boy next door, I guess is the term. I couldn't even think of it. But yeah, so I totally get why they're saying, like, yeah, it's easy for them to get that. But here's the thing. When it comes, it's the same thing when I say about Nepo babies. It's easy for you to get through the door, but you have to work 10 times as hard to prove that you deserve to be there. And he has proven why he deserves to be where he needs to be. And this all started because this whole thing came up where he was on social media when somebody posted, he posted, so I got rich off doing gay content creation for a living. And it showed like his bank receipts. And in July 2024, he made $71,391.99. In June, he made $98,444.73, and so on and so forth. So he was talking about it fluctuating. Yeah, it fluctuated because in May he made $122,000. In June he made $98,000. In July he made $71,000. And then the times of like how you can't take time off and all this other stuff because yeah, your income will go down. And so if y'all are real interested in wanting to get in this business, just know it's not easy. And he was saying that, you know what, it's like when he was doing it for 6 years, back then it was, you know, but now it's just like every time you turn around, somebody got a damn OnlyFans account. So, and you can't even afford to take a vacation to get sick. I think one of my friends who does adult cinematography was telling me that he can't take a day off. Like if he goes on vacation, he's losing money. So yeah, it's that overall pressure. So, you know, there were some people in the comments that said that he is the best and the hardest working on here. It's so much behind the scenes you guys don't see. One of my favorites I've ever worked with. Was it EJ on Demon Time? Another person put LOL. He's probably a nice guy, but I think bragging about your earnings is incredibly tacky. Well, was he really bragging, or was he just like trying to give people an idea of, you know, what it is, how it is in this business? And then if somebody asked, did you appear naked on OnlyFans making gay pornographic content for money? The answer is yes. Nothing else really matters. You can say, but I'm really asexual in real life. Who cares about all that? You're a hooker whoring yourself out for gay men, and that we can all prove. Okay, whatever, girl. So you know, we have that. But now I want to get to this other clip where we could finally wrap this up, where he had to address, because in the comments for that article, some people were saying, oh, he's gay for pay. Oh, he's not really gay. He's yet again another straight boy who's jumping into our situation to make money because he can't hack it over in the straight world, in the straight porn. And we all know, like, when it comes to, and look, straight guys have been getting into the gay porn thing since before speech replaced sign language. You had many of straight guys who did straight porn who jumped over into the gay porn world because gay porn paid more. And I'm talking about studio porn. I'm not talking about the OnlyFans stuff. Yeah, OF and JFF and all those other stuff. Yeah, you can get all that now. But back then, it used to be when the studios was paying people a hefty coin. You know, a lot of the straight guys would jump over into our stuff because when you look at straight porn, women are the ones, they thrive in that department. Female modeling world and the adult cinematography world, women thrive in that world. The gay porn is something else. So yeah, he's doing things because it's part of acting. He's taking up the butt. Yes, what? I've seen some clips online because, you know, that's, you know, people want to see that. So overall, let's take a trip over to his IG where he talked about that. And
doing gay porn, but I'm not gay and I have a girlfriend. Do I consider that gay baiting? Well, first off, I don't. I'm bisexual, but it's funny because some old tweets of mine have resurfaced from like 5 years ago saying that I was straight because I thought I was. It just took me time to differentiate what I'm romantically interested versus what I'm not romantically interested in. I'm not romantically interested in men. I've never dated a guy. However, I have pretended to before. That might be considered gay baiting a little bit. Sorry for that. But the truth of the matter is, if you're making content with somebody very frequently, everybody says you're dating anyways, even if you say you aren't. And I've never actually dated a guy, despite a lot of people thinking I have. I've always just dated women. That's all I've ever really been interested in, actually dating. Of course, I like being physical with guys, but you got to understand at like a certain point, is acting and it's for entertainment purposes only. I'm a monogamous person by default. I don't really like hooking up with other people like that. I really only do it for work. At this point, I've been doing this 6 years. I mostly just appreciate the art of it and making, you know, content people like to see. Obviously, I like making money too, right? Who doesn't? You all have jobs. But like, I am serious when I say like, I just appreciate the art of it. You know, I put a lot of work into my body. I work out all the time. I'm on like a strict diet. Like I want to show that off. And I like being a sexual person anyway. So it kind of lines up perfectly. And anything that I can do that I can make money like directly off my body, I'm going to be doing it. I just don't see the point of like criticizing something as silly as porn in that way. On Twitter, I've been getting a lot of hate. A lot of people calling me gay baiter. It's porn. Like, who really cares? Do you think straight women in the industry like getting 7 dudes at once? It's just acting. Most of them don't actually like that. They're doing it for a paycheck. You guys understand that, right? Like, I don't mean to sound patronizing, but a lot of people online can just be really naive and get really caught up in the fantasy of porn. Like, yeah, we're trying to put on a fantasy, but even knowing that we're just putting on a show, like, you should still be able to enjoy it. And if you can't still enjoy it after knowing that fact, I've said this before, I do think you're pretty immature. Like, porn isn't real. It's a fantasy. Understand that. And I think you'll understand why I think gay baiting, calling me a gay baiter anyway, is silly. Anyway, peace out.
Okay, so he said a lot. And my brain is just like, okay, bitch, I'm confused. Now, I get it if you're, I mean, he says he's bisexual, but then he's never dated a guy, which is fine because a lot of people, you know, in certain situations, yeah, he's 24, I believe. So not a lot of people jump into doing all kinds of relationships. He's so invested in doing same-sex performances that he hasn't probably had the opportunity to date men, but also he said that he prefers to date women. So they have their things of, okay, I prefer to date women, but I prefer to have sex with men. He's not the first person to say that, where I guess some people just look at men as, okay, I just want to have sex with you and that's it. I guess they just only look at you as any hole is a goal, or I just want to fuck a dude and that's all that you're ever going to get from our situation. But he has plenty of time, like he said before, what he said he was straight acting on, then now he's bisexual. People evolve over the years. So I'm sure by the time he's 30, he probably will date a dude or whatever the case is. But yeah, I just say, like, you know what, I'm gonna take people as they are. Do I think he's a queer baiter? I don't think he is. Now there are plenty of people that jump into our situation and be baiting. And I don't particularly care for that, but there also does that speak to our community where we're so quick to shell out our money to this overall fantasy that we have of some gay men who love being like, oh, I conquered that straight dude, or I was able to sleep with that straight dude, or I turned him out. Like we have those overall attitudes when it comes to those sort of things in that behavior. Like a lot of us come across in that way, where it's just like, you ain't nothing until you've been able to conquer that straight dude over there, or whatever the case is. So I do feel like a lot of that plays a factor. So maybe it shouldn't just be us looking at the Timothy Champagnes. We need to look at ourselves and start thinking like, why aren't we investing in those actual gay adult cinematographer performers who put in the work and the effort to make things for us and to satisfy and fulfill our fantasies? Same thing when I say about out musicians. Why aren't y'all out there supporting the gay pop acts that's as hard as y'all, you give y'all money to Madonna and Kylie? Why aren't y'all supporting Vincent? Why aren't y'all supporting Jake Shears? Why aren't y'all supporting who else? Cakes the Killer, Duran Bernard, Dames, Mila Jam? Why aren't y'all giving y'all coin titles to those artists instead of just focusing on the straight acting, the people that y'all want to fight hard to get in between their legs and in their butt, as Funky Donita would say. So I said, let's say, I know this was a long one because I was just trying to bring all that, like it just resonated with me in regards of like the advice that Raheem was given. And like I said, I'm very excited to see what Raheem is going to bring in regards of this show that he's going to be doing with Willem and give that advice. And the same thing is because I thought about it, I was like, you know what, let me combine his story and Timothy's story, because they both was giving advice about the industry, if that's something y'all want to get into, as well as, the recent rumors about him queer baiting and jumping in. So I felt all that just made sense to add all that extra stuff to the gumbo. So I'm curious to hear what y'all got to say. And I'm looking at these comments. I see a lot of people got a lot to say, and I'll get to those in a second. But let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so let me scroll on up. Yeah, because, we can't say the P word. Wait, hold on. So let me not reread these other things again. Oh, you said, I've been meaning to ask you this, but I kept forgetting. It's funny. Are we here? Because it's funny how you said, what is your opinion on the Timothy Champagne situation? And it's funny how I added it, even though, I always tend to read y'all comments after I'm done with the articles. So because I always want to focus on the story at hand rather than getting distracted by what everybody's saying. And it's funny how you asked me what I thought about the Timothy Champagne situation. And it's funny how I added that to the story, right? Adult cinematography. Well, Nico Aesthetic says that, so I took that from him. But it was just like, I've seen people say, because you gotta always find clever words. You can't say the P word. It's like, that's what it is. Like, relax. Because I've seen people say it's not nice to work with. Well, I've heard, look, there be stories out there where people say, yeah, the hygiene, and that's the important thing. It's like, yeah, you can work out, whatever, but make sure your underarms is on point. Make sure your balls don't stink. Your ass, is wiped correctly. He said, I heard this people so, his voice is annoying. Like, I do feel like his voice is very robotic and very, like, there's no energy behind it. Like, he seems dead inside. So I get that. But it was good to add that to the document. It says, so I thought he was genuinely bi. I thought that's what he said. I mean, that's why I said I'm confused. Look, you and me both. You said I'm confused. He's bi but doesn't like guys. Yeah, because I was saying that too. It's like, yeah, you said you were bisexual. That, yeah, you do sex. So are you bisexual or you gay for pay? Or are you proving people right when they said you are gay for pay? But I think he is into guys and girls, but to fully come to the determination that you are bisexual would be that, yeah, okay, so you date guys. But I guess when you've been fucking men for so long, you don't look at men in the same way as you look at a girl, where you see a woman as something that you get intimate with and you have like that, that relationship with, the juxtaposition of the relationship. So having to actually have a relationship with a dude, it's like, well, what does that mean? Well, that's something for him wanted to figure out at his 24 years of age. So yeah, he would hack it he wouldn't hack it. Because I'm like, yeah, that's why y'all have to jump over into gay porn. And you know, the gay porn people, they like average white boy types. But and I'm not taking away from the fact that he works his ass off, because I've heard people say that he definitely works his behind off. But I mean, that's the only way you can have to stay and doing what you're doing. He said he would not be. He gives me, I bullied gay kids in high school. Once I leave the industry, I will repent and have a child. And we've heard enough of them heifers that be in our industry. I mean, that in the industry that did that. It's like, oh, I'm an ex. You know, I used to do porn and I've been delivered and all that other crap. I was like, sit and spin. I can't stand people that do that. I was like, okay. I honestly don't know any of these artists you mentioned. But you never heard of Raheem Shabazz, who was like one of the most popular porn stars on the planet and is about to be a judge on Willem's new stripper show? Yeah, he definitely making coin. Taught us. But anyway, so that was a long-winded segment. So I want to thank you all for watching. We're at the end of the show. I was gonna say tune in next time. Well, I don't know when next time I'm gonna be, because yeah, my birthday is on Monday, September 2nd. So I'm gonna take a couple of days off, possibly the whole week, and I guess I'll be back the week of September 11th or September 9th. I think that'd be a smart time to come back, because I'll be rejuvenated. I can give you all a show. No, I was naming musicians. I was naming musicians in the beginning when I was talking about Vincent, when I was talking about Cakes the Killer, when I was talking about Duran Bernard, when I was talking about Mila Jam, who was a trans performer. When I was talking about, you know, all those artists, yeah, when I said those are people y'all don't, you said, I don't know any of those people you mentioned. I'm like, of course you don't. That's why I said their names, because y'all spend more time with the A-listers and all these other people than these actual out people, performers of color who aren't getting, and who aren't getting the attention. So anyway, yes, as I said before, till the next time, sometime in maybe a week or two, for a brand new episode of Christina Unfiltered. If I do happen to come on earlier, don't cuss me out, because I was like, oh, I miss doing it. I'm rejuvenated, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I need to take some days off. And thank you. I need to take some days off and rejudge this battery, because I have just been overly exhausted this week. So I definitely need to take time to recharge this battery. Look, a lot of artists do it. But they need to take some time away. I'm sure a lot of y'all will still be here. Can you imagine if I did a drunk stream? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna drink on camera and y'all could join me on my birthday. You know what? I just might, don't quote me on it, but I was thinking I just might come on that day just to celebrate with y'all and do a show, and then take the rest of the week off. So I might think about actually doing that if I'm not busy on that day, or if I don't go out. So yeah, thank you all for watching. As I said before, that's why I said, see, he knows. If it's some breaking news, I'm going to jump up on here, because that always tends to happen. Or I may have to, jump on the TikTok and do like a little TikTok, like a breaking news TikTok video. I might have to start doing that when I take time away from doing the show. But I got to just jump on real quick and just do like a quick little TikTok video. I might have to start doing that, just to take time away from doing streaming, because doing live streams is a lot of work. And it's time consuming. So I may decide to do that. Or then I might just be like, well, fuck, I need to find my other ring light that I can attach my phone to it and all that other stuff. And this is all boring stuff. But anyway, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time,